lost, there's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Hey, good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. What's up? My name is Doc Holiday, and joining me today, of course, is Seriosity. Hope you guys are all having a great day so far. Welcome to the BSL. How you doing, Seri?
Hey man, doing well today. Gonna be very exciting to cast. We are in the playoffs finally in this race championship format, and well, it's gonna be pretty different format. Well, I mean, it's basically the same thing, just more players and no Protoss this time around.
Nice, man. Exactly the type of StarCraft I like to see, dude. Not gonna lie, man, this is gonna be a whole day of my absolute favorite matchup. Very excited to see it. And of course, you and I decided to warp in as Dark Templar today. Completely invisible. We're looking super good, I think.
Yeah, blending in well for tomorrow's cast. Of course, because Protoss did the best in the regular season, they're already seeded into the finals, which means we're gonna have Terran and Zerg here duking it out to see which race gets the shot to take down Protoss tomorrow.
Well, I'm hoping it's Zerg. I love ZVP. I'm also just a Zerg faithful, but I'm not gonna lie, man. At this point, I think either way is gonna be nice. As you can see, the lineups are really good today. Just really looking forward to seeing the games just in general. Yeah, Protoss really killed it this season, though. I mean, if you take a look at the scoreboard, over or not over, like the doubled Zerg score. They are 12 points ahead of Terran. Absolutely crushed it this season. I don't think anyone, you know, I felt like it was a pretty safe bet. You got some of the best players, absolute top of the cream of the crop when it comes to the players in the foreign scene on the Protoss team. So that is no surprise. But the lineups today, no slouch. Who you looking out for specifically today, man?
Well, unfortunate for Team Zerg that their best player could not participate today, because I felt like if Zeke were in this lineup, this would be slightly Zerg favorite as it stands. I think Zerg is actually going to have a tough time. We do get interesting map choices, though, from Team Zerg. You see Arkanoid, Third World, Monty Hall. Even Benzing is a pretty weird map choice. Just maps you don't see that often. I'm sure Avilov is a little bit sad we're not going to have Sparkle.
I'm a little bit sad we don't have Sparkle. I want to see Avila play some Sparkle, man. But yeah, definitely gonna be fun. I really love the interesting map choices of the tournament format just in general because we get to see a whole bunch of cool stuff. But yeah, I think that's a good point. The Zerg lineup looking a little bit weaker without the inclusion of their like trump card essentially. But still pretty strong players out there. Personally, I'm looking forward to finally seeing Kryok play for the first time in a while. I haven't gotten to see any of his gameplay in a long time, so that'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, actually, I think this is gonna be Kryok's first match in a very long time, at least in a like an official tournament setting. And I wanted to say, you saw Protoss had how many points? 34.
Yeah.
6 goals were DeWalt. So,
Oh my god.
really caring. He only lost once in the 10 weeks. I think that was to, if I'm not wrong, it was Avilov, I want to say. But yeah, very strong showing from the wall, definitely. But we'll see what what Zerg players are playing what maps. Really gonna make it interesting with these map choices. And I like Zerg mixing it up. You know, like on a standard map, you could say Terran knows what to do. They're gonna go their bio into their vessels, maybe a tank push. But if you're picking maps like Arkanoid and Third World and Monty Hall, we're not gonna see a normal TVZ, which is gonna be exciting, of course.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty excellent point. I definitely feel like ZVT is kind of like figured out when it comes to more standard maps. You know, like all the timings are very samey. Everyone knows it's like Zerg rushes to their lair tech, and then once the lair tech is chosen, people know kind of it's very flow charted out. But on these other maps, there's definitely a lot of opportunities for interesting build orders and weird things to happen. I think that'll be a really good opportunity to see some maybe some upsets and things like that as we go forward. The South American kind of steel wall of Dandy Ultra Terror, very scary. Of course, Nyokin's very strong as well. So Terran lineup looks very terrifying, and I just want to make sure that our Zergs get some points up on the board.
Yep, and well, feel like we're gonna see at least a drone and probably Avilov do something a little bit different, a little bit strange on some of these maps here.
Alrighty, guys, sounds like we are ready to go. Let's hop on right on into it. It'll be Cadenzie versus Goku. Alrighty, guys, and it looks like in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have spawning as the green Terran. We got Goku.
All right, and in the top left, we have Cadenzie as the white Zerg. And cross-map Circuit Breaker. I know you are, in particular, are a fan of this map, Doc.
I am. I just really like the big macro games that it kind of makes for. The middle of the map is nice and open, so there's nice big engagements and good angles to take care of. No abusable terrain for tanks to be annoying on. I have to say it is absolutely my favorite map to play against other people on. But you know, in a tournament setting with these players that are not terrible caliber like myself, you know, there are more interesting maps, but you know, as far as the game is going to shape up, this will be a really good test to see kind of how both of our players react to just a standard game. I feel like Cadenzie has got such crazy tight early timings. You know, her time in Korea and stuff like that, she really focused on like these tiny things, like getting her mineral boosting on point, getting her build orders hitting at like the literal tightest second possible. So very much looking forward to the build order choices from her. It looks like we're going immediately for a 12 hatch 11 pool with a gas. So likely going to just be a very tight 2 hatch muta play, and in the meantime we have a pretty standard Rax opener from Goku as well. So things looking very normal, nothing too crazy going on in the early game as we have our scouts going out and checking out the map.
And just mentioning that mineral boost, of course, when you have right side spawns, you do get better mining efficiency, but that pool will boost that top mineral patch for Cadenzie. And we actually have Goku going for... Okay, I thought he was going to go blindly into command center here, but yeah, just playing it safe, going deep ball, already walling as well with it. Only one Marine, which can be a little bit risky if he's going up against a 9 pool with a gas trick, something like that. But standard 12 hatch into lair from Zerg, and Terran is going to make this command center. And this depot will help against any later Ling attack, any kind of later Ling pressure.
Here we go, and Cadenzie comes in and sees the timing right away, checks out, knows that everything is going normal, no gas play or anything like that. Even comes in, gets a little manner shot off on the Marine real quick from the drone, and that could even potentially make some sort of a difference if these Lings decide to come across the map and be annoying. But yeah, things looking super normal. Only for some 2-lings to get this SCV out of the way. We'll see if that SCV gets to get the scout on, or if it gets eaten up by these 4 Zerglings. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what her micro looks like. I haven't seen Zoe play in a very long time, actually. Has she even been brought up for the race championships when I was gone?
She's played a couple times, and she also played in the last BSL. She was in a group with Medino, J-Star, I think, and someone else.
Oh man,
well, there we go. SCV count is actually gonna get killed, and now this could mean you have a potential link flood here. But Goku was already making that bunker, so this, I think he was gonna go for eBay in this. Yeah, so +1, which is kind of risky against 12 hatch, because look how late this academy is gonna be. I mean, I'm already a little bit scared for Terran. How is Terran actually gonna have anything other than turrets against the Mutalisk, you're gonna have like 8 Marines and a medic.
Yeah,
Without
and range and stim time
range?
is gonna take forever. Marines without range are like so ridiculously bad versus Mutalisk. They just get absolutely picked apart. So looking forward to seeing some really awesome micro. Because as you know, I'm very biased Zerg caster. So waiting to see some points go on the board here. But this is a whole lot of Zerglings coming out here for Cadenzie.
This could already be GG. We're gonna have a rescout, which is very important. I like how cautiously the Terran is playing. Getting this SCV is actually... Oh, that's a massive scout. That's so many lings for this time.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Cadenzie decided to show kind of like some of the lings that were in reserve there instead of trying to hide them. But yeah, seeing this many lings, you know, this has got to let you know that the Zerglings are going to come across here and try to cut down on the Marine count before the mutas hit. And that is terrifying. You know, I really like what Goku's doing here, making an additional wall with SCVs in front of these Marines, so that way the Zerglings, not only can they not really get the surround on the bunker, but also the additional Marines are going to have protection from that. So really excellent response, I think, here from Goku. And this is going to make these Zerglings a much worse investment early on, because cutting down those Marine counts before the mutas get over there is a really great way to make sure your mutas do a ton of extra damage here. But
we have the Mutalisk in production. Let's see what the turret timing is like. Look like it's actually a little bit late here. Lots of barracks going down, but very little in the way of anti-air. These should be the first 2 medics popping out. But again, the range is so delayed here. I feel like Terran's gonna have a really difficult time fighting these Mutalisks with Marines.
Turrets looks like they're just getting up in time. Second turret covering the production now, and I believe there was one in the natural expansion at least going down as well. So things are looking just barely on time here. Cadenzie could pick off some of these building SCVs if she wanted to. Yeah, I think Goku's actually made a pretty excellent defense here. Doesn't take any damage from the initial Zerglings, and then these turrets are just on time here. So Cadenzie just going to pick off this guarding supply depot and maybe open up an opportunity to go in with the lings and the mutas on that bunker here.
Yeah, and that's a free bunker. Marines on the high ground, going to be a little bit difficult to surround with the lings. Mutalisk taking a lot of fight here. 1 goes down. You get about 8 Marines there. Probably worthwhile. Those lings didn't have much value. But now Terran actually has a lot of production here.
Yeah, 5th rack's almost finishing up here. And so a whole bunch of Marines going to come out here and make these Mutalisks pretty irrelevant. And with the initial investment into the Zerglings, and them not getting all that much done, this is going to be very difficult to hold the 3rd base with these Mutalisks as the bio ball increases to the point where they can just kind of walk across the map here. Zoe diving in immediately on a bunch of turrets here, and the Marines deciding to move out instead. I'm not sure this is a choice. The bio army is not that huge. I feel like a Sunken plus the retreating Mutas should be able to take care of this, and in the meantime, the Mutalisks are all over the production. Oh, but 2 Mutalisks get caught out in the middle of the map and taking out one of them here. That's pretty big, but we do see that Cadenzie does have a full vision of where the Marines are because of that, and so the retreat is going to be very timely. Potentially looking to pick off some of these Marines in the back and slow this down as well. So, I don't know. How do you feel like that went? I feel like the initial attack, you had to do something with the Zerglings, but, you know, no fatal damage done to Goku now. I feel like this is definitely his time to start doing some damage on the map.
If you kept those lings alive, this move out would have been impossible for Terran. Very easy to pounce on this with just the 11 Mutalisk and whatever number of lings you have. But because those lings have been forfeited, now we have Terran moving out and not adding turrets back at home. Of course, he's defending via attacking. Now, this is a lot of Marines that have been killed. We do still have a lot of Mutalisks. But again, if you remember, Zerg's natural, very undersaturated.
Yeah, those early Zerglings definitely, you know, Zoe paid a really big cost in the potential of mining from what could have been a whole bunch of drones. Coming in again, though, doing a lot of damage here, getting right on top of the bunker initially with the Zerglings as well. I mean, I feel like these trades are reasonably efficient in the natural expansion. If the Marine count gets too low, I mean, the turrets at the production, I don't think have been reproduced.
I think there's only 1 turret, second one going down now. Slowing down the tech would be absolutely massive here. Getting all these free Marines as well. There's basically no units, only turrets.
Oh my gosh. Muta's getting pretty decently bruised up here, but there's not enough DPS in the main to stop them from diving back in here. I'm a little surprised she didn't target the SCVs that were building those Stargates to slow down those very important vessels. But there's still a lot of time before any kind of units come out here that can really deal with this. Only 5 Marines.
This is why you need turrets near the ramp to eventually deal with a situation like this. If you lose all your Marine ball, how do you actually defend the natural from these links? Like a never-ending link flood now kills the natural turn. It's going to be forced to lift off. This is still a lot of Mutalisks. Even if the Marines have +1, so do the Mutalisks. And you can see Zerg reinforcing. Lots of blue moving across the map. 1-1 Marines. This is a big power spike for them, but not when you only have like 7 Marines and 1 medic. You can see the Mutalisks just getting on top of the turrets. Now the production is exposed as well.
Oh man, this is a nightmare situation for Terran. Can you imagine getting all the way to 5 Raptors, having an army at your natural and an army on the map, and somehow the Mutas still managed to overcome? Look at how fast all of these Marines are falling. The Zerglings now coming in and joining the fight as well to keep the Marine count down. And these Mutalisks just doing work. Every single medic getting picked off.
Okay, now the natural is completely bare. There's no SCVs left behind. There's Marines here, but no medics. These Mutalisks could just fight them head on. There's only 1 turret protecting these Marines. And I think that's it. I think Goku he can't get a large enough Marine ball here. Although these Mutalisks are very bruised up. They're down to 7, 6, 5. You can see how quickly they bleed off.
Oh. Even still, this has been delayed for so long. Having the army completely reset here. Look at these Lings coming in here now and making all the difference. Wow.
Yeah, now
this is
3 gas Zerg. 3 gas Zerg. This is completely different than what we were looking at earlier with only like 10 drones on minerals and 6 on gas. Now we have a saturated 3rd gas. There's our scan. This is probably the GG scan. There it is.
Wow, Cadenzie riding the knife's edge, going to be able to clean up Goku with a very sick game number 1. Excellent play there. I was really worried for her for a little bit there with that initial attack, not really getting too much other than the bunker. I didn't think that she was going to be able to turn it around, but after cleaning up the Marines in the middle of the map, just snowballing that big unit advantage and just running over everybody. What an excellent game number 1.
Yeah, very abusive with the Mutalisk micro there, and I mean, I thought Goku was in a good position. He just didn't defend his natural for one moment. His Marines were on the ramp, but the bunker was completely exposed, and once the Mutalisks were able to cut off the Marines from the natural, it was only like 4 or 6 Lings that were able to kill all those turrets and SCVs. So yeah, very well executed attack.
I have to say, I'm a little biased too. Zoe was the one who taught me how to do 2 Muta initially, so very proud to see her putting that build order to work. Looked great. Can't wait to see game number 2. I'm very curious to see who goes out, or who they send out to fight against her next, because after such a terrifying game number 1, they're going to have to send out one of their stronger players too. Although, to be fair, we look at the Terran lineup, like, who on their team is not a strong player? They're all terrifying.
Yeah, that's a pretty stacked Terran lineup. We have the best of the best representing NA, SA, and Europe. So they're definitely looking to get that victory. And, well, if you exclude Protoss, Terran and Zerg are actually pretty evenly matched. But that is, of course, including Zeke.
Yeah, that is a good point. The Zerg trump card not with us today, so we'll have to see what happens here. If you're a Terran player, though, what are you sending out next? I'd assume that you're trying to put out like a pretty standard map and just go ZVT traditionally pretty difficult matchup, and the Terran lineup's so strong. I feel like you just kind of rely on your skills, and you're not looking to play any kind of funky map here. Looks like we're going to be heading to Goodnight with Kryok, so that'll be interesting. Very excited to see Kryok. I remember when I first started casting, Kryok was all over the place, and then I feel like we haven't seen him for like a year and a half or something. So really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, this will actually be Kryok's debut in Racers, but back then was definitely one of the top Terrans in the scene, right up there with around the level of XPX. Medino around there. So good to see him back, and I don't know if you actually saw, but Artosis participated a couple events ago, and I think it was day 9. Did you?
Oh yeah.
Did you guess that? He played against Bo, and he had this very, very good cheese on Turbine. Turbine is that one map where you have the second base in your main base. You basically get a free natural.
Yeah.
And he banked on Protoss going 12 next and went 2 racks bio with an SCV pull, so you can scan their middle line, drill, and then you can break the ramp with SCVs and Medic Marine behind it. So very nice cheese. Something you remember that map Ringing Bloom?
Oh yeah.
That was actually a very common strategy he would do on Ringing Bloom. So he brought it back. He beat someone in one of the ASL qualifiers, some well-known Korean player. But to see him utilizing race boats was actually pretty funny. I didn't catch that day, but as soon as I saw what he was going for, I knew he was going to pull out that build, and it worked really well.
Oh man, I love it, man. Artosis complains about cheese all day on his stream, but when it comes to tournament, he doesn't care. You know, he's a tournament player. He's gonna win. He doesn't care about the build order. He doesn't have none of this honor and hard work shit. He's out for blood, man. He comes and kills you. That's just how it is.
Yep.
It's actually really good to see that, because I worry, you know, like when you see a player who sticks too much to the very standard play, I feel like not having like cheese and like timing attacks and stuff in your pocket is like a big weakness. So very surprising to see that from him.
Yeah, it's one thing, like if you're laddering and you just want to practice and gain skill, then yeah, playing standard is probably the best way to get there. But if you're in a tournament match where improving is not priority, it's more, well, I guess gaining experience in tournament setting is important, but for someone who's as experienced as Artosis, really the W is what counts. So
I feel like
there
it's
we go.
very
Good
important
night.
to maintain that threat, you know. Always have the cheese in the back pocket to pull out at any time. You know, it makes you such a scary play to play against when you're unpredictable.
Yeah, in a best of 1 or best of 3 setting, it doesn't matter. Having that bag of builds is always very good. And I think if we have the map here, that means we're ready.
Yep. Let's hop on into it. Here we go. Alrighty, guys. Well, here's his BSL Race Championship debut. In the top left-hand corner, spawning as the white Terran, we have Kryok.
And in the bottom right corner, we have Cadenzie. And another cross map, another 4-player map. And good night. It doesn't really play like Circuit Breaker. Like, I feel like of their modern maps, the one most like Circuit Breaker is probably something like Polypoid.
Yeah.
I feel like Polypoid has kind of replaced Circuit Breaker. You get that close mineral only 3rd, and then a not too hard to defend 4th base. Good night, it's a little bit different. The 3rd base is way worse than it is on Circuit Breaker, and it's way worse than it is on Polypoid. But it's still very similar in the way the mineral bases are laid out.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point about the 3rd base. It's on a low ground. It's got a weird choke on it as well. It's not as easily defended. It's got 3 entrances. So yeah, definitely a little bit different. I still find this map is like super interesting and fun to play, and that you got a lot of good games on it. But very, very quick barracks in the center of the map here. Going to be a very interesting start here from Kryok. Not something I was expecting. He's usually a pretty macro-oriented player, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, sometimes he goes mech, sometimes he goes bio, but usually favors that macro style. But we are seeing a way out there barracks. Now, usually it's not this far out. This means that he's going pretty committed with this. If you make it, say where your natural is, maybe a little bit further out, you can float that and then use it as part of a wall. But now, oh, I know what this is. This if Zerg scouts with the drone and they see Marines at the ramp, they're just thinking, oh, this is Rax expand.
Yep.
But this is a barracks supply barracks. And now all Kryok has to do really is not get scouted, pull Marines, and then right before Zerg can make a sunken, they just go for it, and they're gonna have two barracks rallied, and it's just a lot of production early on. The Zerg is really gonna get caught off guard by this. This is a very hard to spot cheese.
I really like that this SCV sees the Overlord goes down. Looks like it's just a little bit of a later scout here, but it doesn't look like doesn't look like this SCV is doing anything. He's just doing his thing. He's just coming from bottom left. Look at it. Zoe even sees the timing for the SCV, checks bottom left first. So not going to see that coming, although that might ring some alarm bells because the SCV scout is quite a bit late here.
This is already all this larval is drones. This is impossible to hold now. We're not even seeing an SCV pull. I think usually you combine this with okay, there are the SCVs. But...
yeah, Cadenzie's gonna see. Well, the SCV pool is gonna definitely let her know what's going on, but I don't think that these Marines, because they're just arriving now. Here they are.
It's three Marines. It's not one Marine. Yeah, this is already over for Team Zerg. I mean, this is hard to, especially because it was cross map. You scout so late. Well, one sunken immediately gonna get. I mean, one creep immediately gets denied. Bunker's already up. Two Marines get in there. That's a lot. The sunken half parted though. Can one Marine get in the bunker? Looks like all four Marines. Now we have enough SCVs to repair the sunken fire, and this is two racks being rallied. And the sunken is gonna go down. Not targeting the SCVs. SCVs also not repairing, which is a little bit curious. But now Marines coming across the map, and I mean, even if Zerg holds here,
yeah, the economy's devastated at this point. Well, there you go. Zergling's barely able to get even down the ramp. Gets one Marine, you know, trying their best to kill these reinforcing Marines as well. But, you know, the simple fact of the matter is two SCVs have survived. So there's no way that bunker ever dies. You know what I mean? So what do? We have lair in the main. So, you know, I mean, that's like the one thing going for Cadenzie, but how do you afford any lair tech with with 5 drones on minerals?
And these aren't even speed links, can't even afford that. Second hatch finally gets taken out.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm not even gonna need medics here, just have enough production with the 2 racks.
Honestly, with the Marines in the bunker, you can just walk up the ramp. I know that Kryok is trying to play this safe and not throw a one game somehow, but to be honest, like, there's basically no moves left for Cadenzie on the board here. Very sad. This was so well played by Kryok, man. What a build order.
This is very easy to pull off cheese, very hard to detect from Zerg. If you don't get first count, it can be like if the Overlord doesn't see, if Kryok were top right, for example, this would be impossible to hide. You would just see no expansion and be like, okay, there's something going on here. But once Cadenzie confirmed it was cross, you saw the drones were made before it was even done.
Yeah.
And just very hard to hold from that scenario. And just waiting for the medics, I think. This is a lot of links, but again, Zerg is on 5 drones.
That is the hallmark of cheese. Unfortunately, that's just how StarCraft is, man. I mean, you know, you gotta roll with the punches, keep playing. It's very sad that it's a best of 1 tournament because Cadenzie not going to be able to clap back for a next game, but that's just how it goes, you know. And with this type of format, these type of plays are extremely strong. Of course, cheese is always going to be easier to execute than it is to defend if things are, you know, if the map situation plays out right. But look at this. How do you ever get down this ramp? A bazillion Marines on the ramp with a medic in the back hanging out to help out. Like, look at how fast the Zerglings fall. This is just the game over. And I definitely respect Cadenzie for sticking it out, but there is nothing that she could do at this point. So there we go. We got the GG. And an excellent game number 1 for Kryok's first game back into the scene, man.
Very impressive. Just shaking off all that rust with a quick game here. And that means we're gonna be tied 1-1. Both sides taking the win here. And, well, Zerg has a lot of options here. Who do you feel like? I feel like Hawk, Drone, and Avilov are going to be saved for later. Same with Terra and Dandy. Like, they want to keep basically the players who have the potential to get a lot of wins all at once. Usually you save them for the end.
Yeah, I think you send out Patak here. Patak has got a bit of a stylistic playstyle. I think he can take maybe some games here, especially since Kryok hasn't been in the scene for a while. I don't know if he's been laddering. That's the real question. Is this Kryok at full power, or is this Kryok, like essentially waking up after hibernation? We'll have to see, but I certainly think Patak has got some potential here. I have very little familiarity with Squall's play, so I don't know what he plays like, but I definitely think we see Patak go for some big lurker mid game, and I honestly think that he could definitely pull out a win here.
I agree. Well, Squall, from what I remember, goes for a lot of 2-hatch mutas and likes to mix in links. So kind of how the first game on CB was. If you would have replaced the players and told me it was Squall, I wouldn't be surprised. The other thing is the map choice. Like, do you come in against Kryok and just pick Monty Haw here? That would definitely be a drone move there.
I think you definitely need to save some funky maps for Avilov, of course. So you don't want to just use up your best maps on a player who isn't specifically more experienced than that. I think Liquid Drone also potentially very good at playing on the weird maps as well. So I don't know. I think you just give him Patak a standard map. I mean, that would be my choice. You know what I mean? Let him do his thing and save your funky maps for some of the stronger Terran players to try to throw them off their game.
Exit.
Alrighty. Sounds like we are going to be heading on into our next game, so we'll find out what the choice is here in just a second. All right, welcome back, guys. And look at our beautiful faces. Jesus, look at that headshot. What were you? Are you going to be a glasses model or something, man? Damn, it's professional. Look at him. Oh, man. Wow. In the meantime, I'm like sitting here with my mouth halfway open. Like,
Doc looks like he's going to be in season 13 of Sons of Anarchy or something.
Dude, I miss my beard. But it was so itchy, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, I got rid of it. The real problem with my head, though, if you look how close together my eyes are in comparison to the massive globe that is my head. That's the real problem. I feel like someone photoshopped my face to be small in comparison to the enormous. No, but that's just how big my head is. You know, it's just I just got a swollen head and a tiny face. It's a big problem, man. I'm telling you. But alrighty, guys. Well, welcome back. I just want to mention we're going to be heading on into the games real quick here, but guys, this is the semifinals of the race championship, and we are only at $500 of the $2,000 goal. We have 2 days to meet that goal, guys. If you guys want to see some more races championships, I would really appreciate it. If you guys dig into your wallets and do your best to support this, because I've been having a blast. I love the race championship format. I like the best of ones. I like getting to see the the consistent matchup over matchup and see how all the players adapt to the different maps and everything like that. I think it's a really great format. If you want to see more of this, we got to hit that goal. So please, if you feel like donating, we'd really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, we're going to be heading to Tau Cross with Squall. So interesting choice there. Tau Cross, very famous map with tons of history on it. And they're going to be sending out Squall. So we're going to have to see how Squall does. You said he is mostly 2-hatch meta player. Very excited to see that. Always some very fun games. And 2-hatch meta, always a very difficult build order to execute and defend against. So I'm very curious to see how Kryok is going to respond to that.
Yeah, and well, if you remember, Tau Cross has one very specific spawn where it's almost impossible to get good SimCity at. And if Kryok ends up with that, we can see a lot of links being made early on.
Which one is it? That's a 12 o'clock, isn't it?
The top mid-left one. What is that one?
Oh, okay.
Look at the mid-left one. You can't compare where the command center is to where you would need a depot to even get a wall, and it's not even going to be link tight.
Yeah, it's
very difficult.
There are
and then
some
6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock is actually really hard against mutas because your minerals aren't flush against the edge of the map. Another thing is, like, mid game is fine for Terran because you know where Zerg's gonna expand. You don't have to waste a lot of scans looking for bases. But late game, Zerg has a lot of avenues to attack, different paths they can take, and it can be very difficult for Terran. So, all in all, this is definitely a Zerg map the longer the game goes on, in my opinion.
Man, this is going to be a great game. Do you think this is going to be a very long game, though? Is Squall the type of player to do a 2-hatch meta all-in? Or is he more of a 2-hatch meta, get to 3 bases, go to 4 bases, go ultralist, and do your normal late-game stuff?
Looks like we're finally ready. But yeah, I think Squall is more the former than the latter.
Alrighty, well, we'll have to see how it shakes out then. Here we go. Welcome everybody to Tau Cross. Starting in the top right, so not getting that unlucky roll, we have Kryok in the red.
And in the bottom, we have Squall in the green, but also actually the red because we're doing blue-red.
Yeah, dude, that is so weird. How the blue is red. Oh my god. Yeah, I was so confused when I was saying Kryok's color. Because I was like, this is clearly the top right-hand corner of the map. What is going on? But, you know, just StarCraft things, man. You know, that's just how it goes. But yeah, so you think he's the former, huh? So we're going to likely see kind of like a brutal onslaught in the middle of the game. Bunch of mutalists here. You know, that is a style of play that I feel like a lot of Zergs tend to lean towards. And I'm kind of curious why that's the case. I just feel like a lot of our foreign Zergs like to try to end the game with mutas as opposed to go to late game off 2-hatch muta. Is that something? I mean, like, how do you feel about that? It certainly seems like a choice that I've never experimented very much with, but it certainly seems very difficult to pull off. What?
The depot placement. He's mattering one patch.
Huh.
Well, I think the thing with ZVP is it can snowball really quickly, like we saw in Game 1. When you have good mutalist control, if Terran ever messes up, if they ever make a mistake, all of a sudden, you can't recover. The mutalist numbers just never end. Zerg always has 11 mutalists, it seems like. And even against 5x production, if it goes badly for Terran, it really goes bad. So we see a lot of games just end outright in the mid game. But if Terran defends, then Zerg can also just transition into late game. They're gonna have the Mutalisk to keep the Biobot at bay. Their Lurker, sure it's delayed, but they're not really prioritizing a Lurker. They're really just, it's all about the hive time.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. I mean, I guess you just keep you keep your options open. You keep the pressure on until it slowly starts to not look like it's going so good, and then just kind of transition out of it.
Yep. And then we have 12 hatch, 11 pool, 10 gas from Squall, and Kryok. Other than that weird depot placement, just playing standard. He's gonna get in here. He's gonna see it was hatch first. Probably gonna cut Marines here now to get the slightly faster command center.
Too bad these aren't StarCraft 2 depots, and you just put it in the ground.
And you can what is it called? They just burrow. You just burrow,
Yeah.
and they can come back up. Just
Yeah.
I mean,
so
they
ridiculous.
thought, all right, so these buildings that can't fly, how do we buff them? Because obviously, they're not good enough if they can't move. And then let's have them have burrow for free. Isn't that a great idea?
I used to teabag when I played Terran in StarCraft 2. Whenever an Overlord would come into my base, I'd start like lowering and raising my bunkers or my depots rather. You just type in the chat, you just say, take it, and they're like, what the heck?
And then bunkers, right? What's the thing with bunkers?
Bunkers can be dismantled.
Refunded. Yeah, they can and
Yeah.
you get like a refund.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. It used to be 100% too. So you would just make a bunker and then refund it, and they'd like pull like 7 drones, and you'd be like, psych, got him, and then you'd be out.
All right, it's only 2 links from Squall. SCV is already pretty low. You always got to be careful. As soon as this goes to, ooh, we actually had a fake out from Kryok. Would be really risky to commit with it, especially with the Overlord like well within sight.
Yeah,
Of,
I think
that
that's the
Marine
point
move out.
though, right? He sees it with the Overlord, right? So you move out halfway, and then you force a couple of additional links, and you just go home.
Ooh,
he
and
goes home.
he retreats, hugging the right side of that depot, so that the Overlord doesn't even see it. Now Squall is really gonna be looking out for some Marines, and he knows he forced out links, so he's gonna make a bunker. And you can see the Sim City at this spawn is not that bad, because the command center is so close to the choke, and again, the top left spawn is just way harder for absolutely no reason. That's one thing about these older maps, like the spawn locations have a big impact on how you can get away with some things, like a minimal amount of Marines and just 1 bunker. Pretty safe against links in this spawn, but other spawns, not so much. There's the third base from Squall. I like, well, on top cross, the thing is you can't take the close third. It's not like other maps where there's a ramp or a choke that leads into it. That third is completely wide open. So you really have to take the other main.
Yeah. That it's a little unfortunate too, because unlike on most other ramps, on the other maps rather, there's no ramp to your closest main as well. So lurkers, while still, you know, very strong in that choke, don't quite have that additional strength that's provided by being up a hill.
Mutalisk being made for Squall here. Good scan timing. Kryok should be adding those turrets just by now. We have full saturation, main and natural. We have 9, 7, and 6 on each, 3 on each gas. Third hatch already about to complete. So far looking pretty solid for Squall, and there are the turrets about to complete. 3 turrets being added. This one random one by the choke. Again, if you don't defend the choke, it can be a little bit difficult.
Is that a doesn't make turret though?
That.
Look at that turret near the production though. It's like very, very still at the beginning of its creation here. The main is like wide open right now. I think there's only 4 Mutalisks though, so it's gonna be really difficult to cancel any of these because the Marines are in position, everything like that. Here comes a 5th one now.
So we get 1 SCV. You're looking to get 3, 4 SCVs with your first 7 Mutalisk, and then you can retreat and go from there, trying to pick off stray units here. And there, I like these 3 turrets at the natural, very nicely placed. You can see if they're hugging the minerals like that, they don't matter your SCV. So very good as a turret placement there. And this one random turret on the right side, I actually think it's actually gonna catch Squall off guard because this is so randomly placed here. It also has a purpose. It defends the right side of the mineral line somewhat, and it controls this choke area. But you can see the Marines without medic support instantly get picked off, and this is already a lot of damage. It's like 5, 6 SCVs and 5 Marines. Well, really should retreat. He's within range of the bunker. I don't think he realized there were Marines in there, and he ends up losing 4 Mutalisks there. So after what looked like a fantastic start, I think Kryok ended up slightly ahead after that engagement.
Yeah, it's kind of insane how efficient your Mutalisks need to be. Like, don't get me wrong, it was really great to get all those units, but now, like, the Mutalisks are the only way that you defend your third from the move out here. Looks like there's just enough Mutalisks with the additional link support here to slow down this push. I think you keep on making Mutas and stop them from getting across the map, but wow, that was very close. 3 Mutas left now.
Yeah, I thought he would clean that up a little bit better. And this is only 3 racks from Kryok, so you can see he's still lagging behind in supply. But this is, oh, I don't think he should be moving out here if he's going 3 racks tech.
Look at that little hexagon these Marines are making, though.
So Kryok is really prioritizing that tech, and Squall already has that 3rd gas mining, so this is going to be a lot of Mutalisks. Queen's Nest and Hydra Den also going down. And double starport from Kryok. So, I mean, this is really fast tech in comparison to what Squall is doing.
Man, that was very unfortunate for Squall that was taking fire from that bunker there. The Mutas were doing such an awesome job initially. It looked like it could have been the end of the game there almost. Got a ton of damage done to the SCVs. He cut down really, really hard on the Marine count. So there wouldn't have been an opportunity for him to come across the map like this had the micro just been a little bit cleaner and had he realized he was taking so much damage. But now we're at that classic moment where the Marines are almost here at the 3rd. There's no ramp for the Mutalisks to continue to abuse, so we're gonna have to use this high ground wall to try and protect them. Looks like we just have enough to clean up those Marines now, or the medics heading home now. Very interesting that we're not cleaning those up, because those are super high priority units. You kill all 3 of those, and Terran is in a really rough spot for another move out.
Yeah, Terran doesn't want to make medics. Oh, this would be a massive get. But it looks like the Marine is gonna be able to. Well, it's not enough Marines actually.
Oh, but they're firing on the Overlord! The Zerglings come in here and they're gonna be able to make all the difference. The Mutas could certainly fight at this point. Oh, 2, 3 medics. Does he go in for the 4th one? She's just hanging out there.
Going for that Overlord costs Kryok so many units there, but we can see him ramping up that production. First few vessels actually seem a little bit late considering his starports were done quite a while ago. But there we go, double vessel, EMP, not EMP, Irradiate on the way. And still have a large gas for Kryok. I think his 2nd gas must have been really fast, because usually at this point, you're kind of starving for gas. You can't even afford Irradiate when you start your 2 vessels.
Well,
looking to see if he has a 2nd eBay anywhere. He should be on 1-1 right now, maybe working on 2-2.
He's 0-1 looks like right now, yep. So no 2nd eBay it looks like.
There it is, just starting, but very good. Another medic gets sniped there. And we should have Squall with the hive complete, maybe starting the Defiler Mound. So tech-wise, he's done a good job. He's getting a macro hatch as well, so I mean, fantastic macro play from Squall. Finally gonna lose this Overlord. I mean, this Overlord has given him so much value.
Yeah, all the vision he provided, and then of course the quote-unquote assistance that he provided in that fight as well. Well, certainly worth it. MVP Overlord there of the game. But things, yeah, as you said, on Squall's side is looking super good. He's already got his lurkers in place and everything like that. And, you know, the timing of the vessel is so late. Like, these mutas have really gotten a ton of value. I would certainly feel like the mutas would have been forced home by now. We'd see maybe like 1 irradiate, we'd be down to like 4 mutas or whatever. But these mutas are still very healthy. Could potentially provide, you know, defense versus drops and all that. He's got the whole control group still. And a bazillion million lurkers at his natural, and I would assume a whole bunch at his third as well. So it's going to be really difficult to get anything done in this phase of the game right now.
1 irradiate being used. He still has another one. Well, has to be careful with these mutalisks.
Oh, Wow,
From
and just
10
like that.
From 10 down to 4 in the skip of a heartbeat, and we're even losing some more to the Irradiate. So now this opens up potential drops to that third base, very exposed third
my
base.
God.
It looks like all the mutants are actually gonna go down. Wow.
It's almost like that was intentional. Like, I don't think that it was, but I mean, why not split? I mean, unless you're like specifically trying to get instant supply, right? Like, if he was supply blocked, I'd understand throwing them away just to get like your defiler out on time or something like that, right? If you got a really tight timing, you throw away some lings, you throw away, you know, your mutas or whatever, just trying to get some supply open. But it's not like that. He wasn't supply blocked. There wasn't any kind of issue. So the fact that we just threw away, like, I mean, that was like 4 Ultralisks worth of gas.
And if you think, well, these mutalisks not likely to do much with the radio, they do provide drop defense, and they also eat irradiates, which can otherwise be used on lurkers and defilers. So
Yeah. At least if you split them.
they always have value. So losing them for free like that, it's gonna be pretty painful. Actually, using Irradiate on Scourge kills a ton of Scourge.
Oh, all of the Scourge.
This is gonna be a D matrix. It should definitely be a D matrix. Maybe run by 1 Marine and then bring the rest. But no, looks like Squall is on top of the defense. Still no defilers.
I like Squall is he is stacking his lurkers so they can't be irradiated all at once, and then shoving overlords on top of that too to even further defend them. Makes this very annoying to deal with the lurkers. This is something I need to incorporate in my play more, sticking the overlords on top. That is so annoying.
Looks like we have a bad rally maybe from Squall somewhere. But he has a lot of anti-air defense with the Scourge. Still has these lurkers at his natural, finally mixing in a lot of defilers. I like the overlord spread to spot drops. And looks like he's about ready to take his 4th base.
All things being equal, Squall's done a really great job getting himself to this point. This is kind of right before this is like the calm before the storm moment. I'd say this is probably the most uncomfortable moment in the game for a lot of Zerg players, where you're trying to take your 4th and get things secure while there's like a large number of vessels and you got to protect your defilers and all that. But you know, he's gotten everything up and running, and he's doing a good job not losing too much to the initial vessel irradiate harassment and all that. So all in all, I think as long as he secures this 4th base here with those defilers that he's got in his main, doesn't let these well, oh, he was trying to hide it underneath the overlord, but still gets the irradiate off. So that's annoying. But look at that, we've already got plague and everything as well. So I think we're securing that 4th base and getting to the comfort zone where you just start making units and start going on the offensive with your defilers. I love it.
We have 2-1 on the bio. Zerg still doesn't have upgrades. They have double evolution chamber. This could be a huge drop coming in. Scourge in position though.
Oh, but does he see it? They're not getting controlled, so only 1 Scourge making a connection here, but we do have a group of wings to start working on this Marines. They unload a little too fast though, and this is major, man. Once a drop this size gets unloaded, it's very annoying to stop.
You can see it's 2-2 Marines. The Lings absolutely tickled them, but weren't able to take him down. The Fighter Mount goes down. Marines still alive. Lings flooding in. Leading off. Evolution Chamber gonna get taken out. This could be absolutely massive. Maybe an upgrade was about to finish. Looks like it just finished. So at least Squall has that in his favor. But these Marines are distracting Squall while the 3rd is getting... The 4th is getting busted. Huge plague on all the vessels, but the Marine ball is still alive.
Man, it'd be really nice to have some Mulas right now, huh?
Yeah.
A little unfortunate. Man, this is such a crazy drop, though. Did you see Kryok target down the defending defiler here for the drop as well? Like, his control is insane. He's crashing in all the bases here. We do have a defiler here in this natural. Got a nice plague here, but there's no units to be able to capitalize on that plague. I would almost like to see a Dark Swarm, except for the mineral line's already been raided here. Squall's getting taken apart.
Wow.
Dude.
1 swift drop ended that game, and I mean, it just opened up a lot of possibilities there for Kryok.
Bro, Kryok hasn't been on a break, man. He's been in the hyperbolic time chamber. Yo, he came out Super Saiyan 2. What the heck?
That looked very clean. Other than that early skirmish where he lost a lot of bio trying to get that overlord, everything else worked out wonderfully for him.
Yeah, that was excellent. Honestly, really well played engagement there. He attacks on both fronts all at the same time. He's got excellent control of his bio in the main. He focuses down all the high priority buildings. He kills the defilers so that way the defense is not able just to clean up his units right away. I mean, you gotta say, it was a little lucky that he flew past those Scourge, because it didn't look like he was controlling his drops at that point in the game. Very unfortunate for Squall, because if those Scourge just make connections with even just one of the two dropships, a single dropship of units really not that difficult to deal with just lanes. But since both got to unload, very impactful drop there, and then of course that distracted him. He lost his whole third base as well. So things just kind of perfect storming a little bit for Kryok, but even still looking very strong. Going to be still taking out the Zergs, I guess, man. Are we going to get past Kryok, or is he just going to all kill?
Well, now it's up to Zerg to send out a player, and after getting 2 kills, you don't really want to let the ball get rolling. I feel like it's time for Zerg to send out one of their snipers.
Well, it looks like their sniper is going to be Patak on Benzene. And Benzene, how do you feel? I mean, not a super crazy map. Nothing.
What about
nothing...
that lurker killing the generators?
Ooh, that would be interesting. And from what I've seen of Patak, he really does favor lurker playstyles just in general, anyways. I feel like 2-hatch lurker is super underutilized. I get that it's like difficult to make happen, because if it's scouted, you just throw down like a second bunker at your natural and you're like good to go. But especially on a map with a feature like that, I think it's a lot stronger. And then I just feel like people don't see it enough to really just expect it all the time. You see the layer, if they snipe your SCV, you're just like, all right, it's Muta. You start preparing for Muta, you make your turrets and all that, and all of a sudden, whole bunch of lings, whole bunch of lurkers show up and you just die. So I would say that'd be a great way for Patak to make the most of his of the map choice here.
Yep, definitely. I like it. I like the pick. I like the map. Let's see what the strategy is, though.
Oh man, Kryok on a tear though. Makes me wonder why he hasn't been coming out for tournaments, man. Looking really strong here. Takes out both Squall and Cadenzie. And very clean games too. His game number 1, super dangerous. Excellent cheese. Game number 2 shows that he's got it still. Even takes a whole bunch of damage in the early game. Takes some really unfortunate engagement. Still really able to turn it around with just some really solid macro and good mid-game play here. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to see, is he gonna go all the way with this? He's looking really good. Oh man,
of course.
I think we like
alrighty, cool. Let's go ahead. We're gonna be heading on into this game now. Sorry about the technical issues there, guys. As you know, just sometimes that's the way of the world when it comes to doing online tournaments. But here we are. Yeah, so we're gonna be heading on in, and let's see what the strategy choices are. Like you mentioned, Lurker very strong on this map. I feel like Muta is also very equally strong on this map, though. There's a whole bunch of open airspace that Mutas can use to abuse the Terran quite a bit here. So I feel like overall, it doesn't really matter. The tech choice is going to be a good map regardless. But we do see, Patak was checking for proxies just to make sure nothing funky happens. And ooh, things getting a little funky with on the technical side here. There we go.
Are we good? I'll be right back.
I think so. But either way, here we go. So we do have, looks like a standard fast expand from our Zerg player. In the meantime, we do have Rax expand coming out from the Terran as well. So things not getting off to like any kind of weird, interesting start. We're just going to be seeing normal 2-hatch play, looks like. We finally see SCV trying to move out here, so that's good news for Patak. TC comes down now, and very nice Overlord position here. That Overlord is going to provide so much vision here for our Zerg player. He's going to be able to see any kind of bio move out in the early game, going to be able to see that there's a expansion down, and that's just going to be perfect information. Here's the question, though. I feel like one of the things that Two-Hatch Lurker really relies on is killing the scouting SCV. That... Oof. Hey there, Zero. Having a little bit of a trouble with the feed. On the Discord specifically.
Yeah, because I see the one, the second one you opened up, but the first one is stuck on the map for me.
Map, yeah.
Think we're good now? Alright.
Yeah, it looks
So
good to me.
good.
Awesome. Alrighty, let's see what the issue. So, looks like we don't have a Hydra Den yet. So, likely going to be Muta at this point. Very, kind of a, that Hydra Den really has to get started at a halfway point for the lair. So, when it's not down, Mutas are coming. We do have the Spire down now. Looks like SCV gets taken out, but should have seen that. So Kryok should have all the information he needs. Got a good number of Zerglings on the map here, so once again, going to be a bit aggressive in his natural expansion, but that's a very tight natural wall with the depot there, and it looks like a bunker coming down as well, so going to be very hard to leverage those Zerglings for anything, really, unless the Marines decide to go on a stroll.
Yeah, the Marines already did their poke out, so should be just retreating here, and very hard for Zerg to get in there. And
Very
of course,
nicely timed third base, though, so going to be, heading towards that mid-game already.
an interesting choice is what third do you actually take? Do you take the 12 o'clock one, where you only have to defend one ramp, but via ground it's actually super far? But via air, it's actually really close to your main and natural. Or do you take the bottom right one, which has two entrances, but it's really far from the Terran base?
Yeah, and those two entrances are pretty easily defended as well in the bottom right-hand corner. Like the big old chonky boy ramp, the 12 o'clock, is a lot more room for the bio to move up the ramp there and get some damage done. But it looks like we did go for bottom right-hand corner. That's the one that I personally take. I don't know how you feel about it though. Like, what do you choose on this map, Sari?
Well, in ZVP, you of course take bottom right, and then you take the middle only as your fourth. But because you're going muted so heavily, I feel like top 12 o'clock is definitely an option. 6 o'clock would be like the same as 12,
choice.
but just way more aggressive.
Yeah.
But
Alrighty,
bottom
well.
also viable, and well, they're the Mutalists in production, and we already have the first 4 arriving at the net. You gotta be careful not to lose any of these Mutalists, though. You really don't want to go until you have 7, so you can start one-shotting SCVs. And looks like we have 3 racks again from Kryok, something that he did really well on top cross, so no surprise he's repeating this build.
Man, look at this main though. There's so much space and so many angles that the mutas can come into. These mutas going immediately here on this single defensive turret in the main. 2 SCVs
Ooh.
repairing though. Wow, it doesn't even go down. Excellent defense here by Kryok so far.
I think we maybe lost 1 Mutalist, if 0, so not a huge loss there from Kryok, but it's absolutely massive to get that repair down. Because you lose that turret, you know you're gonna have to remake it, and then you have Mutalists. Those Mutalists probably don't even retreat; they just go like left and then up. We're finding another weak spot here in the defense. Gets 1 turret, 1 Marine. Again, not losing Mutalists is what's key here. It looks like the bunker range again factor there, able to damage one of those Mutalists really badly.
Man, these initial Muta pokings really not paying off very much. Muta primarily, though, going to be here to defend the third base. So, I mean, I don't think it's definitely unfortunate when you don't get too much done with your Mutalisk, but it's not like the end-all be-all of this strategy here. The medic pickoff, though, very impactful. Getting that done really fast makes it very difficult to move out on the map and try and deal with the third base. It's a nice pickoff there.
You may wonder, I mean, again, this is a really fast gas from Kryok. Look at the gas, he's already banked up. And I like the second starport positioning. Very hard for Mutalisk to actually get right there. And he's affording himself more room in his main for barracks or depots, whatnot.
That's a good point about the starports. Both of them very, very deep into the bases here. It really would take a huge commitment to get in there and try and delay those. Looks like we finally have an attempt at moving out here. Wings in the front gonna spot that though, and there is a lot of terrain. Like, this is a really long traversal that needs to happen here in order to get to any of the bases and threaten them. But you know, Kryok does have a really sizable Marine army at this point, and you know, I feel like these mutas have been bruised up quite significantly, and we don't have any kind. Oh, we do. Okay, there are lurkers underneath those overlords. I was really worried for a second that there was nothing there. I didn't think that the Mutalisk could handle this at all, but we do have a Sunken coming up as well. That's going to make a huge difference. The Sunken just absorbing all that Marine fire with the innate armor that they have and the huge HP pool makes the defense so much easier.
And of course, if the Marines are targeting that Sunken, they're not hitting those lurkers, so it makes it pretty easy to defend. There is a second path, but like you said, it's very narrow, the choke, so just one lurker, probably two with the Mutalisk support will be enough to hold off endless amount of Marines. And Attack has successfully transitioned into the mid game and gonna go work on that lair tech +1 carapace, hype tech I should say. Meanwhile, we did see those two starports, so I saw that gas was spent, so that means 2 vessels irradiate already on the way, and soon it's gonna be 4, and that's when it starts getting scary for Zerg. We do see +1 armor still not done, and that might be it. They're researching. We saw Kryok last game, he had a fantastic drop, but the real reason it worked is because he had such well upgraded Marines at that point of the game.
All right, yeah, as you said, once these vessels come out, this third is really, really difficult to defend. They're like, sure, you have a ramp on one end, and then you have that super narrow corridor to the north, but just it's so isolated. It just becomes very scary if the Terran's able to get a whole bunch of pressure on the map here. And Kryok's done a great job. He's kind of hovering in between the natural and the third. Can go either direction. Here come those 2 vessels now. Oh, but they are super alone. Looks like the mutas are not going to spot them coming across, so it would have been really nice to get a snipe on maybe one of them with a couple of muta volleys. But we do have lurkers positioning. Oh, I love this. Oh, is he going to go for the generators? I would have actually liked to see him kind of just put 2 lurkers there and like wait. You know what I mean? Wait for the third base to come down and have like a transfer. But it looks like we are going to be going after that generator instead. Marine's going to be able to take that out pretty easy though. Guess not. Guess they're going to get absolutely shredded on the low ground. But in the meantime, we do have an attack here at the natural expansion. Darkstorm down though, so those lurkers aren't under too much of a threat.
And we have macro hatches going down, second evolution chamber, and I think those Mutalisks, the earlier poke-in was to try and catch any rallied vessels. He was very close, maybe like, I don't know, half of a screen away from seeing those vessels. He might get this one though. This will be absolutely massive. There's almost energy for an irradiate, but not quite. Big pick off there, and I mean, this is the value of keeping these Mutalisks alive. Like, they didn't really harass a lot. They didn't really get a lot of Marine kills. But just having them alive at this stage of the game makes it hard for Terran to just freely move everything across the map.
Yeah, look at this. Like you can pick off reinforcing bio. You get a vessel. Vessel's a huge pick off. Like this is just it's so much better. Like I'm so glad that we kept these guys alive here. You can do things like scout the third timing, stuff like that. Oh, there we go. Runs away. Oh, is he gonna find that? Oh, ooh. And the mutas are split off enough that you could get this split going? Okay, there we go.
But yeah, that's an irradiate that's not going on a lurker or a defiler, so just that alone is probably reason enough to keep the Mutalisks alive.
One thing that I really love... Oh,
huge
gigantic plague.
vessels. Lots of bio as well.
That was amazing. Getting the vessels in there was really big. This is something that I love to see when Zerg players put the spore at the chokes there. So every time the vessels come in, they have to go, oh, am I gonna get plagued? Am I gonna just lose this vessel if I try to irradiate a defiler? It's such an annoying thing for Terran to have to deal with. I just think it's such an excellent move that's really underutilized. Oh no, the muta's just flying right over the bio army. They could actually take some shots. Look how bruised up those Marines are. The plague has completely drained the medics of energy. There's still 1 HP Marines in that army.
Yep, and this floating science facility, maybe he's gonna go for an add-on, maybe mix in BCs. Looks like Patak definitely trying to get a 4th base, needs that 4th gas. But on this map, more than others, it can actually be quite difficult. Like, what are the good options here? This is why actually taking 12 makes sense to me, because via air, it's not that hard to defend. But then you can take bottom right much more easily than you can mid, like the 6 o'clock. So really taking the 4th gas on this map can become quite difficult. Huge plague again. But this is a pretty abusive contain from Kryok. Another huge plague, like really softening up these Marines.
I really want to see Kryok start to deal with these the vessel count though. A plague on the vessels would be really nice, or just some skirt or something, because it becomes very difficult once you have 6 vessels on the field that's constantly building up energy, and they can just keep irradiating over and over and over again. In the meantime, Kryok is taking 4 bases, man. That is, you do not want to see a Terran taking their 4th before you take yours as a Zerg. Ooh.
Yeah, this is the moment when the Scourge could have been huge. You get on top of the Marines with the Lings and Swarm, and then you can clean up these 4 vessels. So bit of a missed opportunity there. And Patak does have this large bank. I'm waiting to see if he already, maybe he's setting up for Ultras.
Oh yeah, like a good...
Or maybe he's waiting on the upgrades.
Good 5-6 Ultras with a nice plague or something like that would be really nice, but right now he's just gonna starve out if the game keeps going like this.
You know what I was gonna say? I actually don't think Ultras is the play here. I think Hydras is. Hydra, Lurker, Ling, Swarm.
Ooh, yeah.
Although it's very hard to execute, it's a very cost-efficient composition. You don't need more gas with that style.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially since he's been kept off of the 4th gas for so long, he's taking the mineral only actually as his 4th base here. So that is really going to, if he's going for a standard Ultra Ling Lurker Defiler play, he's not gonna have the gas to do that. Kryok's troop movement is excellent too. He's not taking big damage from any of these Lurker move outs. Gonna be able to pick those off whenever he feels like it. Just walks around him for now. Keeping his vessel count super healthy as well. Gonna have a super efficient army. And we saw he was transitioning to BCs here. Dude, how do you deal with BCs with 3 gases?
This is where it starts to look a little bit bleak for Zerg. They're the first 2 BCs. And, well, the vessel, it's only 4 here, but I think he has a couple more back at home. There's the Ultra list then. But we are about ready to have that move out. But I feel like it's just, without a 4th gas, you have that one big push, then what? How do you actually sustain it?
You don't. And even then, you know what's really interesting about the Ultralisk as a unit is that it can't kill BCs. How do you shoot up? How do you afford Scourge? How do you... I have no idea how. These BCs are going to come across the map, and it's just going to be like, oh, well, I guess I can't do anything about this.
Oh, that's actually a massive plague, though. And, well, Kryok is near max. We still don't see the Ultras. We did see all that gas getting spent, though. This is pretty bruised up Marines. Like, these Marines actually can't engage anything.
The Lurker shots, just one spine gets like 3 or 4 Marines there. Look at those medics working overtime, dude. I hope they're getting hazard pay or something. They need at least time and a half for that.
And here we go. We're removing these Marines. Again, I don't think this is actually going to do anything, even though a group of Marines can be fearsome, not when they've all been plagued. nicely positioned lurkers just being annoying. A lot of attention is being utilized just to deal with units all over the map. And you can see Lings alone being able to kill some of these Marines. And Patak's supply slowly growing. We do have the first few Ultralists. They don't have speed, but they already have that armor upgrade. And 6 vessels with a couple BCs. So this is where all of a sudden the Ultralists don't look that menacing. We are having a big move out though.
If these Ultras get across the map, though, and can threaten, that's really where we want to have them. You know, they can't really be doing anything on Patak's side of the map because they really don't have any way of dealing with any of the big threats right now on the map. But if they get across here, unfortunately, they're... Oh my god, look at that. It's just all green. They're just stinky Ultras coming across here with half HP. They're going to get on into the natural expansion. If this Lurker could burrow, that could offer some significant, you know, additional durability to this attack. But as it stands, Kryok's got good upgrades. It's not like these guys are equal or ahead on Garapus, so the Ultras are going to be dealt with the Marine army. And in the meantime, you got Yamato going off here on your third, or on your fourth.
Yeah, and critically, there's no swarm with this attack. Just one swarm makes this a lot more potent. But the vessels are there to cut off, and the fighters reinforcing. We are getting into the middle line of the third. But Kryok still has this massive bank, and he can easily replenish whatever army he's losing. These 2 lurkers have gotten so many kills just from being here randomly.
Now, I'm actually really impressed with Patak's Ultra attack here. I can't believe it's getting this much done. It did a really great job. I mean, just getting all those SCVs at the third base is really nice. But at the end of the day, you don't have the gas to stay on Ultralist tech.
Yeah, he's finally getting that 4th gas. This is what he needed like 3 minutes ago. We have 3 bunkers here. The Ultras are tanky, though. You can see they're just not going to die to unstim Marines. The problem is, yeah, here come the vessels. Here comes the big bio ball. We're getting a lot of SCVs kills. We're being very annoying. These 2 lurkers, if they can burrow on the ramp, cut off some of the Marines from getting here. Nice spread from Kryok, though.
That egg tanking a whole bunch of Marine fire here. What are the Marine attackers? Are they at 3 yet? Oh, okay, yeah, they are at 3 now. I was gonna say we finally got to 2 Carapace, but the Marines getting their updates right on time, making short work of the Ultralists now. Ultra's still a threat, but certainly not. When you're on even Carapace, man, Ultras are literally immortal.
Now, I think the game... Okay, we have a big move out from Kryok. This base has actually been forfeited. The vessels can be cleaned up, but he doesn't have the gas critically. We have Defilers here, though. With Defilers, I think he can defend this base, and because he's done so much damage with the counterattacks top left, I think Patak is actually fine here. He just needs to swarm. Okay, managed to get that swarm. We do have 5 base Zerg with that mineral only, and we still have enough Defilers here to push him back. Another BC arriving here. Look how low the gas is. Can he actually afford the Scourge to defend the space?
He does have. He dealt with one of the BCs a little while ago with Defiler and like 4 Hydras, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case down here in bottom right. Of course, this Defiler can't stall at least for quite a while. Oh, here comes the Scourge, and it is on a plagued BC. So 1 Hydra attack. Looks like the Mutas are coming in to finish this off. Not very often I see Mutas taking out BCs, but we'll take it. But these BCs are just a menace.
Yeah, now it's 2 more here, and then 2 more at the new base. Need a plague on both of those clump BCs, but it looks like we have another counterattack. And Kryok is a little bit better prepared this time around, though. He has firebacks mixed in, which will eat these Lings.
Yeah, +3 firebats are ridiculously efficient versus Zerglings, but you know, Kryokling's still very strong in it. If they're just allowed to deal damage for just a small amount of time, they end up cleaning things up, even firebats in the long run. But a plague on these SCVs, though, that's going to be ripe for the picking later. Look at this one Zergling. Wow. Patak has just been relentless on the other side of the map. It's actually really commendable how much he's been able to do with kind of what looked to be a dire situation there. These BCs, though, still being so annoying, getting a ton of value.
Yeah, now they actually killed the gas drones mining at that 4th base. So you can see he's perma 100 supply or 100 gas or less, and these BCs being very annoying. We have like 3 BCs, 1 Scourge away from dying, and that's really what's winning Kryok this game at this point, because top left isn't even mining. The mineral only is basically mined out, and now 12 o'clock is under siege from just Lings. So if it wasn't for these BCs, I think Kryok would actually be dead here.
It's so annoying when the BCs live with just a sliver of health, because you need like 4 more. You need like 4 more Scourge, because they're gonna take out like at least 2. Look at that. These BCs are immortal.
Just more arriving. This is so close. Kryok finally establishing top left. He doesn't even have a mineral bank, but he still has these BCs, and maybe that's enough here.
Are we really making spores to try to defend from BCs at this point? They got Yamato, man. What's a spore gonna do?
22 kills on that one BC. It's 1 hit away from a Scourge.
Oh my god, this is so sad. In the meantime, Patak is like, well, I just don't have gas, so I just have to keep attacking on the ground.
And it's working.
I mean, his attacks are doing so good too. Oh, we finally have Hydras. No, they're on a rally. Oh my god.
We have defensive BCs now. I mean, Patak still has minerals. He just doesn't have any gas whatsoever.
Oh, we finally have Hydras there. The third. Oh, he gets D-Matrix though, so he's got a whole new lease on life now. We have a single irradiated Hydra because he's such a threat. Oh my god, what a game! This is so crazy, Seriosity. It's still anyone's game. It could turn around in the blink of an eye.
You know, way to deal with these 2 BCs that keep killing everything rallied out of the main, though.
I know, it's so sad.
All these Scourge. Just...
No! Dude, Scourge are so sad, dude. You have 2 Scourge and they just don't do anything because the stupid little laser just instantly one-shots them. Oh my god. I have never seen BCs be this effective before. Look at this 6 HP dude. D-Matrix still on him. He's just outranging the Hydras. Hydras pathetically trying to get into range, just die over and over and over again.
And we actually have that gas not mining. Come on,
God.
Scourge.
No! Stop! He's a...
The BC in the main is still alive. It
They're
killed
turrets,
the Nat
dude.
Cats.
They're glorified turrets. Look at these guys. They're on hold position, just sitting here. Finally. There we go. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. Here comes 2 more though. The Spore is already bleeding. We have D-Matrix Eraser going on over here. Oh my gosh. This is dirty Terran play.
One thing, you can actually morph the Hydra into a Lurker to save it from dying, so nice play there by Patak, but yeah, these 2 BCs, they don't care about 1 Spore.
Double Yamato's this hatch.
Actually, it could actually still be very close, but Patak desperately needs to defend his space and get another gas, because now Kryok is taking 12, although this is going to be shut down right away by just a Link counterattack.
Kryok's got no money though. That's the thing. These BCs are the only thing he's got going for him. Looks like he has a small bio army in top left, but that's it. Look how many medics there are.
I feel like, okay, there's a big army moving out of the natural finally. Why did these BCs actually retreat?
Stopped.
There's a shot here. If we get 1 Defiler, these Lurkers, we can burrow. Again, these Hydras, I don't think they have any attack upgrades, but there's no medics here.
That is a lot of flamey boys, dude.
Yeah, but Hydra Lurker is great against this. He just needs 1 Defiler, basically. Looks like the BC at 6 finally completed his job.
Yeah, he had to take a smoke break, dude. But look how much value these Vestals have gotten. Like, they've just been alive for literally forever. The D-Matrices, the Irradiates. Such a good unit, man. Hydra Gang, though, taking out the BC. I mean, look at Kryok's money, though. That's the real problem. He's got no money constantly. So, like, he has to get this second base in the top center of the map mining. One Zergling's just like, nah, Sorry, bro. You can't land that here.
And in the inverse, the problem for Patak is he has no gas. But he still has a nice mineral bank, but just no gas to spend it. And now we have how many vessels was that? Now we
Like
desperately
9.
need Defiler.
Oh my god, it's 11.
Just imagine one plague and then the Hydras can do their job.
Just imagine one attack though, and you only have unupgraded Hydras and Lings to fight against, and there's medics in this army this time.
Yeah, and there's no workers, there's no Defiler. Finally, one Defiler, but I think this is just
no
enough.
energy. Yeah, how do you fight this? You gotta get the plague. The plague is the big thing here. The thing is though, Defiler Hydra is kind of ludicrously effective versus Bio if you get the plagues off and you let them tick down for a little bit, because then the Hydras are just like one-shotting all the Marines. Oh my gosh, it's gonna deny 12 o'clock again! We have the liftoff once again!
Might even
The
get
army on the right could deal with this though. I guess Kryok is just, there's too much going on there. Really hitting him with the multitask. Now we're taking an up the ramp 12 o'clock here. Some lurkers up there are gonna be really effective, and Kryok does not have the resources to produce those very important BCs here. Oh my god, look at the fleet though.
11 vessels though. Unless they're plagued, how do you actually deal with this?
Those guys are doing... I have never seen a radiate used like that, dude. They're doing so much science right now.
Where is the Defiler? I saw one Defiler. There it is. It's hunting. It wants to get that plague. Looks like 12 has been spotted. I like how Patak's doing this. 12 and 6 same time. You can only really focus your attention on one area.
Dude, I feel like instead of using his Marines to kill the Ling, he should just irradiate it. Just that one Ling up the ramp. Oh my god, and he gets a Hydra. This Hydra's gonna kill all of the Zerglings. Wow, what a game. Patak finally GG's. Man, that was so low econ.
Those two BCs at the main, right? Combined something like 60 kills.
Yeah, that was disgusting. They were just on it, like, they're just sitting there killing everything to come out of the main. It was insane. I hate seeing Scourge go down like that. Man, wow. Kryok does it again, man, but Patak put up a great fight there. I was really concerned when he had to take that mineral-only 4th base, when we were seeing him go, low to ultra, but his mid-game, his early late-game attacks were so impactful. He was constantly sniping off the SCVs. He was doing tons of damage, forcing liftoffs. I can't believe he even cracked that base that had 3 bunkers when he was behind on Carapace upgrades. He just smashed on through it. Like, that was some very impressive Ultralisk use. But in the end, it just doesn't work out for him, and Kryok is on a tear, man.
Yeah, fantastic game from both players. It was so close.
Alrighty, guys. Well, that was game number 3. We're going to be heading on to a quick break here. Let Zero and our casters take just a little bit of a rest. We'll see you guys right after that. But before we go, please remember, if you guys want to see some more BSL Race Championships, we really got to hit that $2,000 donation goal. We are only at $500 right now. There's 2 days left. So if you've been enjoying the programming that we have on for you guys on these weekends here with the BSL Races Championships, please consider donating to the fund there, because it's really important that we hit that to get us season 2. So thank you so much for being here, you guys, and we'll see you after the break. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Thanks for hanging with us. Not gonna lie, I didn't do anything during that break. I just sat here because I saw what the matchup was and I got too excited. So I'm really looking forward to the next game. We're gonna be having Avilov come out to try and take down Kryok, who's on a 3-0 tear right now. Avilov going to be quite I would say one of the three big hitters. We're finally seeing the big guns come out here. And he's going to be going against them on Polypoid, which is kind of like the map right now. You know what I mean? It's like the Fighting Spirit, the Circuit Breaker, like the big standard, no nonsense map. How do you feel like he's got, like, how do you think he lines up with the Kryok that we're seeing today so far?
Oh, Kryok has been playing fantastically, but I feel like Avilov, this is actually, I want to say it's his best matchup. It's tough to say, but Avilov, phenomenal late game player. So I really hope we actually do see a game go into late game between these two. If Kryok is playing like he was against Patak and Squall, against Avilov, a different kind of challenger, but someone who's also very strong, specifically in the late game. I feel like I want to see a big macro battle. That being said, this could also end in 5 minutes. Avilov is that type of player, someone who really has a lot of strategies available to him. We could see some Ling bust, some Lurker bust. I don't know. Anything can happen here. What do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly, if I was gonna use a word to describe Avilov, it's like super adaptable. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter the map, it doesn't matter the matchup. He's gonna figure something out to do. Um, one thing that really concerns me a little bit is, as strong as Kryok has looked so far, Patak really, put the screws to him in the early late game there. Were it not for the fact that those BCs did such an amazing amount of work, I don't know how that game would have turned out, and I don't think Avilov is going to let him get away with it. So it sounds like we're ready to hop on into the game. Let's go ahead and check it out. Alrighty, guys, bottom right-hand corner of the map, 3-0 so far today, we have Kryok.
And in the other spawn, we have Avilov in the bottom left. A Polypoid, a map that usually leads itself. I guess it's most well known for being a very good macro map because every base is basically pretty easy to defend. All these high ground thirds, the minor onlys are also on high grounds. Everything has a ramp leading into it. So we could see that. We could see a wall here at the natural, but this SCV is actually venturing a little farther forward. So this is going to be possibly a repeat of game number 1.
Now the question is Avi prepared for this? We'll have to see what the build order is, but man, Kryok really coming out here to win these games, dude.
Well, he's going for it, and we saw in game 1 it was very strong. One thing
we have
here,
a pool though.
Overpull from Avilov.
This is gonna be terrible for Kryok. I love this. Avilov, man! See, this is the problem, right? Kryok goes into this game, he's like, I'm gonna play some StarCraft. But he doesn't realize he's at a significant disadvantage, right? Because Avilov has the power of veganism on his side. So just by his karma, he's gonna win the build order challenge in the beginning. Okay, you don't go make a center racks versus Avilov, because his karmic buildup of not eating animals or animal products for so long, he just gets these lovely build order advantages just by being better.
Oh, this can still backfire for Avilov. I know he's gonna make 6 links, but if these links go in the wrong direction, then they retreat, and he still doesn't have any information. Kryok is gonna have something like 5 Marines at that point. We see this one Overlord. This is the very critical Overlord here. This other Overlord is so close to actually seeing that barracks.
Yeah, look at their vision is almost about to overlap. I'm hearing the Jaws theme right now.
How many lings did Avilov actually make here?
Looks like 6, yeah.
6. So these 5 are going to go directly into Kryok's base, but that means there's only going to be 1 back at home. Kryok is actually holding the ramp.
Oh, is he gonna see it though? This is critical. If the lings engage here at the ramp and they die too early. Oh no. Avilov doesn't even drink milk. Is he gonna see it?
These lings are way out of position here. Now, he only saw 2 Marines. He should be wondering, is this factory or what is this? Why isn't there an expansion? What's going on here?
Oh, okay. So we're gonna see the Marines moving out with that Overlord. What is the response here? There were no available larvae in the main. I don't know about the natural expansion. Looks like we have double sunken right away.
Player canceled as well. He's way out of position here. Finally going to be able to retreat. He only needs the 1 creep to go up. He's pulling all the drones.
Oh my gosh, both creep colonies getting focused down right away. Drone's gonna get an excellent drill though.
Oh, the sunken's dead. The second sunken is actually going to die instantly.
My gosh. We have Marines getting picked off by the lings, but we're out of lings now here, and there's still 5 Marines alive and 4 SCVs in the natural expansion. Oh my god. Was the build order advantage not enough? Kryok! This build is insane! Is Kryok just built different? The drone drill on the ramp not getting through? Oh my god, he's murdering everything. Oh, the last drone. My heart. An I Love Cats goes down. BSL 5 I Love Cats. No.
Fantastic.
Just
I mean,
cracking
just
an
he
egg
did
with
it
his
again.
bicep right there.
He just
Oh
did it
my
again. Avilov didn't suspect it.
He's just a criminal. This should just be illegal. This is a legal build order. Zero, can we change the rules? It's not fair.
We're actually only 2 wins away from the all kill.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Kryok is he's just dabbing on him, dude. He's doing the Fortnite dance, man. I don't know what's going on. Kryok's just on another level today. Avilov might not eat any animal products, but it sounds like Kryok just eats Zerg for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man.
I mean, if you think about it, Avilov should have suspected something. He sees only 2 Marines. He sees 4 SCVs on the ramp. No expansion. Terran is either 1 basing or they're going factory expand, in which case you would need a sunken. But Kryok, I mean, he moved out with those 5 Marines, then he broke through the ramp. Those lings way out of position. And just fantastic again from Kryok, and with that, he's only 2 wins away from actually clean sweep.
Yeah, that's ludicrous how well he's playing. And man, like that Overlord was like close enough to the barracks, you could smell it. It was so close to getting scouted out there, and it's unfortunate too, because clearly Avilov had an inkling as to what the strategy might be. He makes a build order concession there, tries to play safe, makes 6 lings, and nothing doing, man. He just barely misses the barracks in the center of the map there, and then it's just all over. Very sad. If he does this build again, though, he's going to jail, man. We're sending him to the gulag. Alrighty, next up we have Liquid Drone. The most evolved human. He's a pillar man, dude. But I don't know. What do you do? What do you do versus this guy who's on a 4-0 tear? At any time, there could just be a barracks on the map, and you could just die. Does he do it again?
You need to be on top of your scouting, basically. That's it. Just on top of your scouting.
Yeah.
Like if you go 12 hatch, you have one overlord heading to their natural and the drone going to the other natural. That drone, if that drone doesn't see the correct number of Marines and no expansion at that timing, then you know something's up. You can't exactly know that it's a barrack supply barracks, but you know something funky is going on.
Speaking of funky, we're heading to the Kicks map. Thought we were casting BSL, but it turns out it's STPL. Going to the weirdest map ever. Not only can Zerg, not only do you have all this weird crap all over the map, but Zerg can't even fast expand on this map, dude. There's 4 chrysalises in your natural expansion. I hate this map. I lost to Kicks on this map. Dude, you know what he did to me on this map? He dropped units in the little stupid pizza pies outside of my natural, and then he nuked me from there.
That sounds like a Kick strategy. I think you went. Didn't you go mass ling on this map and you kept trying to break out? It took you forever.
Yeah, it took me forever because there were whole contingents of you. There were like 6 ghosts outside my natural and this stupid little pizza pie nuking my natural over and over again. Oh my god, this map. But you know what, though? If there was a player... Okay, if there were 2 players who could make this map work, it'd be Avilov and Liquid Drone. So I'm really looking forward to see what Ariador has planned on this monstrosity of a map. So let's go ahead, head on into it. But I am ready for some heartbreak. I'm not going to lie. Alrighty, guys, spawning in the top right-hand corner, representing Team Zerg, we have Ariador.
And in the bottom right spawn, we have currently on a 4-game winning streak, Kryok.
Yo, whose idea was to put the chrysalises in the natural, though? What the heck is that? It's ridiculous.
Alright, let me look something up, because I know there's Arkanoid and Neo-Arkanoid. But this is Arkanoid? Right?
They're basically the same. I looked them up.
What's the difference?
I don't know. I can't tell by the mini-map.
Let's look at this map photo. Nope, they both have the chrysalises, so I was thinking maybe that was added for balance, but nope, it's the same. Not really sure what the difference is, but yeah.
Yes, clearly the map makers were concerned with balance when they were making this map, dude.
You have like these huge temples that take forever to kill that lead out of your main, and then on the side you have basically 2 naturals. You can take whichever one you like. And those naturals have some power generators that are easier to kill but don't lead anywhere directly. Like for you to get to another player's base, you have to kill several power generators, the temples, and then their power generators and their temples. So it really takes long. So usually we're gonna see macro openers with quick, and yeah, here we. What does Zerg do here?
You just hang out.
You just take a.
I guess this is a good. I mean, this is a great idea. You just get a pseudo macro hatch, and then later on that becomes you can start mining there. It's gonna be inefficient, but it's gonna be more efficient than having a mega oversaturated, main, and then you just clear it out eventually.
So 3 hatch, 4 pool, and then we're probably gonna go into 5 hatch because we do need to get those killed eventually. Or actually,
let's go 5 hatch before pool. Let's do it.
But you need the pool to actually kill the.
We're just use drones, man. Just make so many drones.
Terran, of course, has the benefit of being able to float off their command center later. And
I gotta say though, what are these sprites, man? These chrysalises are disgusting looking. What the hell is it? It's like a turd with leaves.
Are you familiar with the cadaver flower? It kind of looks like that.
Ugh.
You know what that is?
It.
It's like this flower that blooms maybe once every 8 or 10 years for 2 nights, and then it releases this stench of cadaver, so it'll attract insects. and then those
Oh,
insects
nice.
will pollinate. They'll enter the flower, they'll get pollen on them, and they'll pollinate, and so that there could be more flowers. But the key, it actually looks like this. It looks like this huge thing that goes up. It opens up. It's like 5 feet wide, 10 feet tall. It smells like dead bodies, and I feel like this would probably smell the same way.
Bro, this is actually just a real life Pokemon. What the? It turns from a victory bell into a gloom.
Well,
It really
and
does.
here,
Look at it.
I don't know what Terran does on this map. I feel like air isn't the way to go. Terran air is so weak against Zerg. Like, Wraiths are so garbage against everything Zerg has.
It's true, but you know, I mean, you can do. I mean, you can just play it out real slow. I mean, mech is like literally invincible once it gets to critical mass, right? You have essentially access to 3 bases right away.
Right there, we see that floating command center, no second factory, so maybe this is gonna be mech after all. I was gonna say air, but there is a second factory, so he's just gonna go into Goliaths, and I feel like this is the opportunity. I know Ariador is the one to mix it up, doesn't go mutaless just because Zergs go mutaless. He is one to go into Hydras, Lurkers, even straight Hive. This looks like a Lurker build though, but as Terran, if you're going mech, you're completely in the dark. You kind of have to go Goliath no matter what.
Yeah, it's the only thing that fights everything, you know? They're big marines, basically.
You're gonna have a lot of production here from Ariador. We could even see a 5th hatch pretty soon.
I'd be very disappointed, though, if we don't see a queen from Ariador. Love to see Hydra, you know, Hydra queen, some great cloning, tons of broodlings. Be very great. It'd be a great way to play against the mech player, especially since because this map slows everything down. You just have so much time to get so much energy on your queens.
We actually have a fast evolution chamber, and it's probably gonna be for +1 attack.
Yeah. +1 attack is absolutely essential versus mech for Hydralisk. They just don't do anything without it. They just get shredded.
Yep, and there's that 5th hatch, so heavily into the macro here from Ariador.
There it is!
Right away. It's really fast. Definitely looking like it's gonna be a queen opener, and gonna sack an overlord just to see. Maybe this actually can escape. We see 3 factories, Goliaths, and turrets, so this is like a dream opener for Ariador here.
Yeah, this is gonna be excellent. And going mech, sure, you're gonna have a really powerful army, but it's still gonna take so long for you to get across the map, kill all of these structures, so that way your mech doesn't get bottled up in any of these chokes, and then get over to a point where you're actually able to fight the Zerg. And in the meantime, you're gonna have like 12 queens just chilling with a bazillion energy. And Zerg should also be able to expand fairly quickly.
You gotta remember 2 things about Brood War. It's a real-time strategy game, so you can break that up into 2 parts. One is real-time, and one is strategy. And on a map with less games on it, it's less about your mechanics than it is about your strategy. So here on a map like this where it's weird, a lot of terrain features you're not accustomed to, certain units, certain strategies become more viable and stronger. And getting these queens early is absolutely massive. And it looks like Kryok is just going to go into upgrades, which is fair enough. Can't really do timing attacks on this map.
It is so funny. You open up these temples, and then where do you go? Oh, more buildings.
Yeah, and if you think this is it, there's to get to another place base, you have to kill the same thing.
Buildings are the real enemy here, let's be honest.
And this is actually another base from Kryok potentially here, which means they're going to be on even basis. But if we look at army comp, only 3 factories, 4th going down now. You don't have any tanks quite yet. Hydras beat Goliath straight up, like 1-to-1, no, but in terms of like how much they
supply
cost
and all that, yeah.
and supply, Hydras do beat Goliath, so you need tanks. So that's why we see the queens. And if you're going tank Goliath, you're not gonna have that many tanks, and just a low number of queens will be able to deal with your tanks. And then all of a sudden, what do you have left over? Just Goliaths. So this is the dream comp for Ariador. One difference here is we already have a third, and we're already getting like science facility and additional upgrades for Terran. So Terran, if this goes on long enough, I'm talking about maybe like 6-7 more minutes without action, then Terran's gonna have this very menacing army. But Ariador is not waiting for that. He's gonna have a big timing attack once these queens hit 150 energy. And I think the Hydras, because that +1 was so early, might even have +2 at that time, which is a huge power spike.
Critically, those science vessels, you know, EMP is going to be very impactful here if he's able to deal with a lot of that queen energy before they're able to get those broodlings off. But I kind of doubt that there's going to be that's going to be able to happen. Like, Ariador's going to keep these very safe until it's time to go, and then he's going to come in here, clone all those broodlings real quick, and all of a sudden it's going to be Goliath versus Hydra. And as you said, +2 Hydra versus Goliath is going to be excellent. One thing I am also concerned for is there's a lot of stuff that comes into play on a map like this. You know, drops, for example. If Ariador decides to go for drop on his overlords, all of a sudden all of his overlords become dropships. And there's a lot of exploitable terrain here. Look, we already have overlord speed. Of course, that was going to get researched, you know, regardless, because the scouting information, all that. But like, drops can be really impactful. Mech is not a mobile composition. Queens are extremely fast. Speed overlord's going to be able to be all over the map. And look at this. It looks like we're preparing a drop here even. And so Ariador is going to be able to outmaneuver this gigantic mech army, and that is going to be something that's very, very difficult for Kryok to deal with.
So this might not be a frontal assault like I was thinking. It could still be. It could be a dual fronted attack. He could attack the front and drop the third at the same time. Like you said, mech can't be two places at once, and I think that's the play here. We're gonna have an attack on two fronts, and how is he actually going to be able to deal with this? We have a big supply lead, but again, Hydras only cost 1. We have the majority of the army rerouting, and well, he's spreading off his tanks, but these are very vulnerable tanks here.
And this map
each have enough.
This map is a dream for queens as well. They have so much room to get so close to the tanks. Usually it can be very difficult to get your queens in on the army and you know, get them into range without having them take a bunch of damage from the Goliaths, but there are high grounds everywhere. So look at how close those tanks are to that high ground. Those queens should just come in, snipe those, and leave and not take any damage. Here they come. Looks like they're already cloned. Instantly hits tons of tanks here with those broodlings. No more siege tanks up here. Now this is a big choke though. The Hydra's gonna have a hard time getting through here, and there are 4 tanks to the south that are going to be able to shell that choke still.
Here's the thing. Ariador did something before attacking. He opened up the path to top left, which means he has access to 3 more bases. Of course, he does have to kill those chrysalises, but he's not going all in with this. He doesn't even have to attack necessarily. He already has more queens made.
And drop is ready now. We got 4 Hydras in the bottom left trying to distract from the enormous Doom drop coming into the northernmost base here. There's 1 tank!
Oh man, and now with queen reinforcements, it's going to be very difficult for Kryok to deal with this. Lots of overlords getting killed, but again, overlords not really that expensive in comparison. All the turrets get killed, the tank gets killed. Where are the queens? I'm looking for the queens on the minimap.
They're just hanging out, man. Even still, though, look at this. The Hydra's just getting a ton of damage down here. I kind of wish they were either focusing SCVs or the CC, but looks like the CC is going to get repaired. Quick.
Oh, infest! Okay, looks like we had an opportunity there, but
got
missed.
Repaired.
But the Hydras are actually still alive.
There's only 2 Goliaths left. The Hydras are winning this fight. You could even just +2 that last Goliath. Where's the redrop, man? There's no turrets left.
gonna open up this path. Now this could backfire later. It just allows mech an easier
Attack path, yeah.
path.
Man, what a weird game.
That's a lot of tanks there. And here's another thing. You can't rally units on this map. There's just so much in the way. But we have 12 queens now. Gotta worry about that one EMP. Like you said, EMP is pretty hard to land on queens. But if you do manage it, that's a lot of energy you just sap away.
No. Queens are absurdly fast units. It truly is quite a feat if you can manage to... Oh my god! Does he see it, though? I don't think he does. Dude, these high grounds are just playing so well into the queen usage.
And he got parasited, so that's pretty much a useless vessel now.
Oh, I love it! Sending in that Overlord real quick here to kind of get the information that you need so you can get the cloning done. Get some successful broodlings off. Continuing to get these tanks, man. Dude, trading energy for units like tanks is so overpowered. It is so ridiculous how strong. Just getting 1, 2, 3 broodlings every once in a while becomes.
Yeah, now we opened the floodgates basically, and Hydras are streaming in. We have a huge D matrix, a lot more tanks in the back. Where are the additional queens? There they are, coming from a different angle.
You know what D-Matrix doesn't protect against is Broodling, baby. And look at this, the tanks are just getting absolutely shredded by the Hydralists. The counter gets countered. And now the Hydralists once again in on this base. And the thing is too, like, when you're playing against queens, resource efficiency is paramount. And because of the way that Neo Arkanoid or whatever the heck is, it's like, Kryok is not gonna have the opportunity to just expand to bases. So he's gonna be on this three base economy very long. Look at this, he's already mining out in most of his bases.
And fast, that's all we're missing here.
No, don't go for the... Yeah, I come on, infest it. Please. Oh.
EMP?
No? Yes? No? Maybe?
Somehow that command center, despite taking 20 Hydras shooting it for... Oh, I saw he tried to go for it.
The queen, look at the cloud of queens went for the infest and they got unfortunately denied. But what do you do here as Kryok? I think you're totally screwed now. You're on 2 basically mined out bases. Drone has access to an entire other quadrant of the map here. Even if it wasn't resources weren't an issue, the queens are just getting infinite value. I'd say Ariador is, if not the most experienced, like he's got to be top 3 queen user in the world. Dude. This guy is the queen master.
Yeah, you even got queen energy upgrade, which is something you don't see that often, and I mean, just fantastic strategy, utilizing the drop, the queens attacking from different angles. We have some vultures moving out. These will be able to clean this middle line pretty easily, but even without the space, Ariador's in a fantastic position.
Yeah, I don't think 6-7 drones quite gonna make the difference in this game, unfortunately, for Kryok. But you know, it's hard to ask a guy to be prepared for literally every map that he could see. You know, it's hard to fault someone for losing on this map, especially against a player like Drone, who is again one of those players who's very comfortable playing in weird situations. But man, Drone making this one look easy, dude. This was his map, and he is certainly putting it to good use. Mine is soggy though. Look at that.
But still, this is so many. This is still 10 queens.
Yeah. He's got as many queens as Kryok has units at this moment, I think.
And even with 3-2 upgrades, again, the Broodling doesn't care if you're D-Matrix or if you have excellent upgrades. It's just one shot, no matter what. Finding losing some queens, but going for the kill here. It's only 1 tank left. It's still a lot of Hydras.
So the way that you determine whether or not you can get Broodling is like if the unit has like a pilot, right? Like, because they say like you can Broodling a tank because it's got a pilot or whatever, right? How come you can't Broodling the turret? There's a dude in there. I can see the dude. Look at,
That is
he's right
true.
there. Just hit him with the broodling, dude.
That is true. That seems
Blizzard,
like an
please.
here from Blizzard.
Yeah.
But there we go. Third base gets killed, shut down yet again, and now Ariador is actually on 5 bases.
I think Ariador has more queens right now than Kryok has mining SCVs.
A small drop here, just, I mean, of course, this is a map where it's very hard to actually kill your opponent, even if you have a massive advantage. And looks like Ariador doesn't have +3 quite yet, but it's not gonna matter. He just he just has enough points to hold off this attack. Just has to buy a little bit of time. Tanks are gonna be picked off here pretty easily. Command center even being floated off.
Mech is just so bad in these small numbers, right? Like, Mech gets to this point where it's just a critical mass, because it's just doing so much damage that your ground units just can't make it in. But when you've got 3 Goliaths and 4 tanks, Mech is just pathetic. It loses to, like, literally everything, you know? And with the ridiculous efficiency of the Queen unit, there's just... The Kryok is... He's gone. It's done. Ooh, big MP. That was 2 broodlings right there. Someone in the chat pointed out that you should be able to broodling a CC as well, because there's probably a bunch of dudes in that CC. If you broodling a CC though, you should get 2 ultralisks instead. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Hey, $100. That's gonna push us closer to that goal. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the support. Big tip. You guys are awesome. Love seeing the support for StarCraft, but man, what a game! I mean, honestly, I don't feel like that could have gone any other way. You know what I mean? Ari got the map choice. He had his choice of strategies. It was a great map that was going to play to his strengths. And yeah, he just executed extremely well. And I think it's a lot to ask of Kryok to know how to play that map. You know? I mean, what do you do? Like, you're like, oh yeah, I'm playing really well on all these standard maps, and then out comes the most ridiculous map that anyone has ever seen. It's just like, how do you prepare for everything? So, I mean, I definitely understand Kryok being finally dethroned, and I feel like if there was a game to have it happen, that was definitely it. But Liquid Drone, no slouch. You know, Terran's gonna bring out another heavy hitter, but he's gonna just do fine. It's not like Drone can't play on standard maps. So I'm very curious to see how he's gonna go in the next one.
yep, and I mean, Kryok did his job. He basically said, all right, the rest of you 5 Terrans, just get 2 wins for the team and we'll call it a day. I mean, they could send out anyone, but yeah, like you said, Drone has experience in basically all maps and with a bunch of different strategies. He doesn't particularly like to go mutalist though, so I feel like if you're familiar with his style of play, you can abuse that somehow.
I think Drone has a significant advantage when you go into map pools like that, though. You know, he's been playing since before maps were like good. You know, like he was playing competitively when like stupid ass maps like Bloodbath. You know what I mean? Like so it's really hard to you know, throw him off with a weird map pool. He's always going to be comfortable. So looks like our Terran team is going to throw out Dandy. Dandy, extremely powerful player, and we're going to have to see the map, but I would assume that it's going to be, you know, just a more standard map. Terran's, I don't even think the Terran map choices really had too many weird maps in it.
No, it didn't. And Dandy is very strong. Usually goes Bile, sometimes goes Mech. And I'm really looking for what Jones going to do, because I know he has a couple builds he really likes. Lurker Bust or 2-hatch Lurker into Defiler. Or just straight up Hydra Lurker as well.
I want to see Hydra Lurker with Ensnare, baby. I love that. I think you really benefit from doing things that people are not used to, right? And how much experience do you think Dandy really has versus a style like Hydra Lurker?
Not something you see that often. Another thing, well, we're probably not going to see 1-1-1 because that's kind of falling out of style. But when that was common, Drone came up with a strategy he himself made that was very strong against 1-1-1, where he would go Hydras with +1 and Queens with Ensnare or Broodling, depending on what Terran's doing. And that it looked very strong. He would often get himself in fantastic positions out of it.
All right, Sarah, what do you think the map choice is going to be?
Probably going to be...
I'm thinking Overwatch or Shakura's. Yeah. Very curious to see what they're sending Dandy out, but we're heading on in deep into the it's really hard because the Terran lineup is so strong. It's not like Goku and Kryok were any pushovers. I mean, clearly Kryok just smacked half of the Zerg team by himself here. But we're dipping deep, man. We're talking, you know, Terra and Dandy are constant like semi-finalists, finalists, in champions in all of the foreign tournaments. Extremely powerful. Ultra also in that same boat. Very, very strong. And then we have Nyokin, who, you know, is Nyokin. So there's that. I mean, he's team captain for a reason. Big brain Nyokin.
And if you think about it, you're Kryok. You're not one of the best Terrans on the team. You basically go into this thinking, all right, if I get 1 win, I've done my job. But to get 4, fantastic. Especially considering I can't remember the last time I actually saw him play.
Yeah, for me, it's been over a year, at least. But we've got Drone and Hawk left as the 2 final bastions of the Zerg team. Neither of them slouches, but they're going up against truly like some of the literal best players in the foreign team, like people that you don't want to ever see in your bracket, man. And they've got map choice basically from now on. Sure, you know, eventually, you know, if Drone loses, Hawk gets his 1 map choice, but there's so many Terrans left, someone's going to have a game against you where they pick the map every time. So I don't really think that you're going to, you can't call this remotely favored position for Zerg at all. And I'm just worried that they're going to get worn down by the amount of Terrans that are left.
Yeah, and without Zeke, it's going to be a tall task. Although I do remember Hawk beating Terror Dandy in a show match earlier, and I want to say it's like 4 or 5 months ago. So you definitely can't get it done. It's not impossible, but Terran definitely has a big advantage here.
I think the hardest part about this too is this best of 1, right? So any one of these Terrans could just put something together like Kryok with the ridiculous 2 racks and just knock you out at any point in the game. You know what I mean? Or any point in the rest of this tournament. Best of 1 is such a scary format. You got 2 games left to lose. You lose only 2 games and it's all over. So worrisome. But looks like you called it, man. Looks like we're going to be heading to Shakura's temple. Liquid Drone going to be in for some very tall tasks as we head on into these last couple of games here. I'm very curious to see if he's going to be able to knock anybody out. It sounds like we're ready to go, so let's head on over and see how that goes. Alrighty, guys. Well, fighting for his life in the bottom right-hand corner, we have spawning as a blue Zerg, a Liquid Drone.
And top left, we have Dandy in the color red, cross map. And cross map, I feel like it's not good for Ariador. I feel like Ariador is the one gonna go for a specific timing with a specific build and go for the kill. Now, because it's Shakura's temple, definitely a map Terran can go mech on. We'll see
This
what
map-
Danny decides to go for.
This map is like truly hilarious looking when you look at it. It's just like a ring of expansions, and then just a wide open cavernous middle, with a little dinky, decoration minerals in the middle there. So yeah, this is about as macro-y of a map as it gets, and macro-y positions as it gets to. We'll see. I mean, so you think this cross map really plays into Dandy's favor?
Yeah, I feel like just the extra seconds for units to get across the map aren't gonna work against Ariador here. And I always wonder, like, why does this map have, I think it's like 2 patches with 2,000 minerals in the middle? You can't build anything near it, but 2,000 is not a negligible amount of minerals. And I think it's even 4,000 if it's 2 mineral patches. And I've only seen it come into play one time, where it was a PvZ split map. Zerg had map control and just started mining from the middle, and the 4,000
It's a lot of resources. Yeah.
actually made somewhat of a difference. But other than that, is it there for drilling? Maybe I'm not really sure.
All right, Sari. So when a map loves another map, and they have a baby map, and that map comes out of the mommy map, when the mommy map has the baby map inside, in order to feed the baby map, it's got a tube. So when you cut it, you get a map belly button, and then the doctor ties that up, and that's what we got.
Oh, there you go. Talk with the short lesson here on
You're
mapping.
welcome.
We have 3 hatch before pool against
love it.
Rax expand from Dandy. And, well, to me, like I said, Ariador is not one to go mutalist. This does not look like a mutalist opener. Probably gonna see Lurker or Hydra Lurker. Something along those lines.
I really do love the 3 hatch before pool idea, though. I think you do want to take a risk in this situation. Try to get a nice little build order advantage in that early game. 3 hatch before pool's economy is so ridiculously powerful. It gets like, I feel like I have like 300 additional minerals by the time that layer's done or something. It's so fast. You get those extra larvae, you get tons of drones, just really, really powerful. That's going to make a huge difference, especially since, Dandy is opening up pretty standard. So immediately with a nice big build order advantage going to be a huge boon going on in this mid game, especially, and I obviously am going to defer to you like every time on your opinion. It sounds like, in your opinion, Dandy is clearly the stronger macro player here. So going on and getting a big advantage early like this is just great. Great way to start the game.
Yeah, and Dandy, one of the reasons you don't see 3 hatch that often anymore is because Terran can freely go for this +1 5 racks build, or even 4 racks, and you get a really strong mid game off of this. So we'll see what he's gonna go for, and Danny actually sees those 4 links popping out, which is absolutely massive. So he knows this is not just 4 links, it's 6 heading across the map, and he was cutting Marines to get that eBay faster, that command center faster. That's a bunker going down there, so he's gonna be pretty safe.
And this is an interesting move for a drone. Going all the way cross map, there's just like so much time, that Danny's able to set up defenses there. This wasn't like a huge, ridiculous commitment, and again, because he went for 3 hatch before pool, there's a bit of a mineral surplus that you can use up here, and especially larva surplus. But we're continuing to make lings here and going to be putting on a whole lot of pressure. Looks like we didn't get to see the layer timing as well here, so Danny a little bit in the dark on that. Of course, that's not really a huge mystery, generally speaking. But there we go, just like you called it. We have Evo Chamber in the main, and Hydra the natural expansion. Of course, if you scan, I think if you see the Evo Chamber, you know something's going on. It's not going to be Muta.
It could be crazy, Zerg, but again, if you've played Ariador before, you should know what's up.
Yeah.
That's not likely to be Muralist. This is a lot of links, but this is very nice SimCity here.
Yeah, the question, there aren't that many SCVs at the natural expansion, but still certainly enough to just you know, SCV drill up your ramp and keep the Zerglings off the bunker. Like, look at how well protected that bunker is on all sides.
Yeah, and now even with the Comstat station to add even more defense, very unlikely we'll see Ariador commit here.
I think the nice thing that these Lings do, though, is it's going to keep a rescout from happening. You know, the Marines are not going to move out or poke out to do anything silly. And, you know, when you're doing a lurker strategy like this, you need to keep Terran in the dark for as long as possible. Where was those scans? Looks like we do finally scan both the main and the natural expansion and sees the Hydros den. So there should definitely be a bunker or two going down a little bit further up, because as you know, that back bunker is not going to provide really any defenses against lurkers. So we need to see at least 2 here at the choke, I think, coming up before the lurkers make it across the map. But man, there are a whole bunch of Lings. You could even contest these bunkers coming down, maybe.
Looks like he's not gonna go for that. Gonna just play it safe. Again, his economy's fine here, and because Dandy went for 5 racks, it's actually a good scenario for the Zerg player. Usually against this, you want to tech up quickly, not really get this many Marines out. You can see he's cutting Marines, realizing he's not going to be able to put on any pressure whatsoever. Now, this is maybe like 2 control groups of Lings, so they could easily deal with 1 control group of Bio. So Dandy not moving out, playing safely, because, again, behind this is not more Marines. So one way for Dandy to quickly lose this match is just to move out, and then the lurkers arrive like a minute later when these Lings ate up all his Marines.
So I have to assume it was +1 range attack that was upgraded, but do we have confirmation on that? Yeah, it looks like we don't have Carapace.
Why is it that you can't see Zerg upgrades? Have you ever thought about that?
What do you? Oh, you mean on the Evo?
Yeah, like if a Forge is spinning or an eBay is blinking, you know it's upgrading something. But for whatever reason, Zergs don't work the same way.
Yeah. I guess, but I also I think you just look at Evo and just assume that there's an upgrade going, because it's not like the Evo unlocks some kind of like tech outside of just upgrades, you know? It's like, oh, okay, you can make spores. That's what that was for, you know what I mean?
Alright, first few lurkers are being morphed. Factory was already on the way, and 3rd base going down for Ariador. Again, not... Well, this is a lot of Lings, but I don't think it's enough. It's only 1 bunker, though. This could definitely...
Yeah, I'm surprised. And there's no turret or anything either, so he's completely reliant on scans.
And we have +1 carapace now.
Oh my gosh. This is the most uneventful, yet terrifying early game that I've seen in a long time. Oh my god, the Marines are moving out of the natural.
This could be a counter into GG here. Where are the lurkers positioning? We don't have any scouting information, though. Is this going to be drop? Ooh, these lurkers have to retreat.
Oh my god, they're just getting stuck. This is a big deal. The Marines really spread out here, though, and really not united with the medics. Medics doing nothing at all for that small group of Marines here. We have lurkers now coming down here to help defend.
Oh, man, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. You see the overlords at 12. You see the bio in the middle of the map. Perfect opportunity for drone to counterattack the natural. There was nothing there. Units in the main and not in the map. Instead, he bleeds off a lot of units, and, well, it looks like he's going to have enough lurkers for the defense, but really feel like that was a missed opportunity there.
Yeah. We're soon going to be transitioning into that point where vessels are available, and then lurkers in smaller numbers are no longer such a huge threat. I feel like you really wanted to have some sort of advantage going into this. Zero now is pointing out that we just now get armor for the bio, and I believe we have range for the ranged attack rather for the lurkers. So because of that, the lurker's going to be oh no, they have carapace. Okay, so the Marines are going to be able to bust this potentially. With that armor upgrade, of course, Marines take an additional hit from lurkers, and it makes them much better at dealing with lurkers in concave positions, stuff like that.
double eBay, double evolution chamber as well for Ariador. But again, this army does not scale that well unless he gets Hydras. If he gets Hydras, Hydra Lurker is a way different comp than Lurkerling, because then you can actually kill the bio. They can't just retreat. Like you can see, they're gonna kill the Lings, retreat out of Lurker Fire, and minimal losses there. If these were Hydras though, then all of a sudden you can just pounce on retreating Marines and kill them.
Critically, though, the +1 range has finally finished, so the Lurkers are no longer going to have that very disadvantageous upgrade issue going on. So at least defensively, they'll be significantly stronger than they were just a couple of seconds ago. I'm curious what the late game plan is here for Drone, though. I feel like we need some sort of supplemental tech. We have a good amount of Hydras, good amount of Lurkers. I'd love to see an Ensnare or something to help cut down on that attack rate from the Marines. But a very nice flank getting set up here from the high ground. Here we go.
But all the bio is getting within range of the Lurkers. Is it going to be a retreat path? Looks like just barely there is. Really need to get on top of these vessels and snipe them, though.
Yeah, the one thing about Hydra Lurker is it's so positionally dependent. You need to come from multiple angles so that they can't just stim and leave. But, you know, it is a very beefy, strong army. And it allows you to engage more directly with the Marines, medics, and science vessels in the mid-game. Have a bunch of meandering Lurkers here getting kind of stuck up. Very unfortunate. The army control here, a little unfortunate. One thing that we do have, though, is that Lurkers do not suffer from the uphill mischance like most other units. Lurkers getting burrowed here. Hydra's doing good damage. Look at that. Look how strong Hydra Lurker can just fight this. You know, it's so funny to see Zerg units in the mid game able to actually just man fight versus the Terran army. But you know, with these with these upgrades here, kind of on parity, things going good. As a matter of fact, the Lurkers have a Carapace upgrade advantage over the bio right now.
Yeah, but now we see the vessels getting their radiates off, and now it's going to be more Hydras, less Lurkers, which is not ideal. You really need always like 5 or 6 Lurkers to fight with your Hydra list, so the Marines can't just ignore the fire from just a couple Lurkers. And a lot of stray Lurkers getting picked off by small groups of Marines here.
I think one of the funny little things that like plays into this, though, is like when you're killing... Oh my god, the Lurkers! I was gonna say, when you're killing Lurkers, though, sometimes they'll get that death spine off, you know what I mean? Where they do the double damage and it just like one-shots huge groups of Marines. Hydra's fighting uphill, though, not ideal here. And here we go, big engagement. Hydra's doing work, though. Lurker's doing a great amount of damage here as well. Hydra's really gotta back up and fight with that Lurker fire.
And low to high ground. These Hydras can actually kill all those Marines in the open field, but because of this ramp, it's a lot harder. We have Drone taking a 4th top. Ooh. Right. We have a Lurker drop here into the main. This can be very annoying, and it's gonna at least distract Dandy.
Yeah, really disruptive. Gonna force the use of his scans as well, which is critical because this, you know, the more you use the scans, the more opportunities you open up all over the map, right? Because the vessels can only be in so many places at once, and if you don't have turrets everywhere, then all of a sudden Lurker's able to sneak in, be really annoying, kind of set up in places, and then you have to bring the vessels back. Alrighty. Well, the Lurkers and Hydras finally get up onto this high ground here, so no longer fighting up that ramp. That vessel's so low, too. These Hydras trying to get into this position where they can start fighting that big Hydra army. And now, without the ramp disadvantage, going to have some much better fights here in the middle of the map, I think.
Well, not if the Lurkers get picked off like this, though.
Oh my gosh. Ariador's Lurkers just constantly getting kind of messed up by their pathing a bit here. And both the Lurkers gonna die now to those Irradiates. And where's the rest of the army? That big Hydra army is like pretty much all there is. Oh my god, this Lurker! It's all move commanded! Oh my god, the Death Spine! Gets half the army with a single Lurker. What a miraculous amount of damage that was done. Big Hydra army still towards the north. 3rd pretty exposed here. And the reinforcements from the natural expansion should be able to hold this 3rd, I think, for Ariador. I do not understand these troop movements. Pushing up this ramp, though, I don't get why we're just not holding at the bottom of the ramp.
Big Hydra counterattack. There are SCVs to repair the bunkers though, and not all of the Hydras are actually attacking here.
Ariador really pushing his own multitask to the limit.
You can see the strategy is good, but the control and the movement is suffering, is lacking a little bit of finesse, and the vessel count is slowly it just keeps growing. And every time we see an engagement, we're seeing more Hydra listed. It's nice pick off there on one vessel.
There's just like barely enough units to hold here. Big lurker spines coming out. The Marines really grouped up, getting stuck up on the medics here. Once again, just lurkers on the map doing so much work. It is so hard. That's the thing. It is so hard to not just get taken apart by random lurkers. Like the fact that Ariador is leaving all these random lurkers around the map and they're just getting Marine kills constantly has been so good. An excellent engagement. Looks like we have a multiple angles. The lurkers, oh my god, huge spines, absolutely ripping apart the main army here in the middle of the map.
Yeah, that was absolutely massive. Finally, the engagement he was looking for. Oh, but again, the Hydras can't fight without the lurker support.
There is only one medic here, though, importantly, and it looks like we're pretty low on energy with most of these vessels as well.
Yeah, Danny, what he really needs is tanks. He's really focusing on just macro with the bio, with the vessels. Main and natural about to mine out, so he's only going to be on one base, and Ariador still has 4 bases.
You point that out, but the only factor is just kind of floating, man. I don't think we're going to see tanks for a very long time. I think this is a big commitment to just a bio vessel play, and I honestly think it's a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, just Hydras now. Where are their lurkers? The only 2 lurkers there got irradiated. There's not a lot of gas here. He's probably going to have to retreat to the high ground. Get some lurker eggs on this ramp. There's no Nidus.
Yeah. As you point out, no Nidus. Not just no Nidus, though. We have, basically no hive tech period, which is a little vexing, to be completely honest. I honestly feel like we should have Defiler tech by now. Plague would end the game in some of these fights. You know what I mean?
Here we go, and there's movement to defend this base, but he's not going to be in time.
Couple of lurkers. But how do you get up this ramp? You know what I mean? How do you get units up this ramp to help defend this? The lurkers, once again, just kind of walking at the bio army. Very sneaky lurker, though. Get some great spines off here. This is not enough Hydralisk, I don't think. I don't think you win this fight.
Yeah, 3-3 bio now.
Main army. Oh my god, the Hydra's just doing their best here. Getting decent amount of Marine kills, but they're just going to get shredded. Bio is just so good versus naked Hydralisks.
Dandy even taking a 4th now, and again, the upgrade difference is now massive. It's 3-3. We still have 2-1. I think he's working with 2 evolution chambers, but he's just too far behind in terms of upgrades. The Hydras alone can't fight the Marines, and the vessel count is still at something like 7.
Ooh, and this is very difficult to deal with.
Looks like we managed one.
Hydras are fairly mobile units, but in small numbers, they really don't do that well versus bio. And so drops can be really impactful. Looks like this is going to get taken care of very efficiently, so very well played by Drone here. Oh man, that irradiate is crazy. And now Drone going to lose another one of his very important mining bases. I think his only mining base currently.
Yeah, main and natural basically mined out. There's a GG finally, and Dandy takes the win.
Man, there's a lot of good stuff going on there from Drone, but it's just very perplexing. Some of the fights that were being taken, like the lurker management was very unfortunate in a lot of the fights. There's a lot of fighting up ramps against bio. It just hurt really bad to see some of the fights that Drone was taking. I honestly think that he played his macro game and his game plan were really good, but unfortunately just the micro was not there that game. Oh man, And just like that, we have one last Zerg.
Gonna be Hawk, the last hope for Team Zerg.
Hawk, no pushover. Very talented player. Very, very strong. I certainly think he's got the chops to beat all of these guys individually, but having to beat them all without dropping a single map? Don't know about that, man. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, he's gonna have to go through the Terran gauntlet here. The very best of the best.
And critically too, unfortunately he has a pretty weird map pool left.
That's tough. I mean, we still have Third World. I'm surprised that wasn't picked earlier. We have Monty Ha.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that, like, for example, Avilov took Polypoid. You know, I feel like some of the funky maps might have played better to his skill set than Hawk's. Hawk is a very solid player. Like, he plays very standard, very, like, most often. Like, we don't see too much weird things happening stylistically. He's not like the type of player to do these like very creative, strange like builds that you'd attribute to like players like Avilov and Tai2. So I am curious what the map choices are going to be, because I mean, is he just exclusively allowed to pick from the Zerg map pool? Because if that's the case, he's got a very uphill battle. Gotcha. Okay. All right, I am anxiously awaiting the map choice here. If you're Hawk, though, does he have the chops to mix it up? Have you ever seen him play a weirdo game where you're playing on something like Monty Hall?
Me?
I've never seen him play on Monty
okay,
Hall.
I'm back. Sorry, I mean, sorry, he's back. That's good. Sorry, guys. Me no.
But I have seen him go 2-Hatch Lurker. I have seen him mix it up. I've seen him go Hydra Lurker. But these odder maps, it's gonna be hard.
Flying Brutal points out. Third World. Ooh, I love this map. I love seeing this map in that ASL season with all the funky maps. I think Third World is the coolest way to do a pseudo island map. Like, you can play standard on it, but then you have the option of doing interesting stuff too. I think it's a great name for the map too. It really just is very descriptive of the map architecture. So really, really looking forward to seeing how he's gonna play this. Do you think that Hawk is going to make use of the other half of the map, or do you think we're going to see something like just like a 2-Hatch Muta or 2-Hatch Lurker just end the game right away before Terran has the opportunity to kind of float and take advantage of the fact that their buildings are more mobile?
Well, 2-Hatch Muta, I still think is the play. But then the thing is, how, like, drops become menacing. Do you go full air? You go air for longer. It's really strange, because the early, like the first 8 minutes or so, I would say basically the same for either side.
Yep.
You're gonna see probably bio and then 2-Hatch Muta, and then Zerg takes a third. The tank can't really attack, so Zerg can focus on defending only the natural. Maybe they skip workers because of that and go straight into Ultralisk.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we're gonna have to see how this pans out. We're heading on into the games right now. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Well, welcome to Third World. In the bottom left-hand corner, spawning as our Terran representative, we have Dandy.
In the top right spawn, we have Hawk. And the last Zerg hope is gonna have to go 4-0. Now, Hawk had a very successful week earlier in this tournament where he also beat Dandy and Terror. And in the Protoss team, he beat Dragon, and I want to say someone else, but I don't remember. So definitely can get it done, but it's going to be very difficult. And Third World, let's see what strategies these players opt for. From Danny's perspective, I think you just play it standard.
Yeah, I agree.
You go for a strategy where you want to end the game on 2 bases, because taking a third on the other side of the map is impossible. Zerg can Nidus there, and then for you to commit a heavy amount of units to that side of the map is very difficult. I feel like Terran, maybe they take bottom right, but even that's very far away, so very difficult map for Terran overall.
In the chat, there, Nyokin does say he's not sure if this is a Hawk map, and I sort of agree. I don't know. We'll have to see how he plays it out. I don't think I've personally seen him play on something like this where it requires a completely different kind of idea of how to play the mid and late game here. But as you said, he certainly has the chops to beat all these players. He's super strong Zerg. I hear a lot of people talk about him in like kind of like the same way they talk about Gypsy, where he's like incredibly talented. So I'm very excited to see how he decides to play this out.
Well, no surprise going 12 hatch first, and wouldn't be surprised if this were 2 hatch Muta. Let's see what Dandy does. Looks like Dandy is just gonna go straight into bio though. No surprise there.
All right. So things getting off to a pretty normal start. So the initial 2-hatch Muta phase looks like, it seems like it would be pretty strong, right? Like the natural expansion has got kind of a whole lot of room for Mutas to fly around and be annoying. And then the main is so enormous as well. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to get a lot done early on with the Mutalisks. But I haven't seen enough ZVT games on here to really know how this is going to shake out.
Yeah, and critically, well, we have a little skirmish here, but nothing too serious. I just don't know what Terran can do. It just feels like the options are very limited, because how do you ever get a third base is my main question. And for those of you who don't know, you can mineral walk workers to the other side of the map via some mineral patches, and it'll allow you access to it. You can count the bases on that side of the map. It's like 2, 4, 6, 7 bases on that side of the map, compared to the right side of the map, which only has main natural and then this pretty far away bottom right base. So how does Terran ever get a third, really, is my main question.
Yeah, I don't really know, right? Because you'll have Muta, so if you go over to that side of the map, there's no way to defend it for the longest time. And then later on in the game, as you said, you have Nidus, so your army moves freely from the starting position or starting side of the map to the third world, I guess is what we'll call it, right? And like it's just so difficult because you don't have the ability to transport your units like Zerg does. So if you want to move a whole army to the other side of that map to make a defense or start playing on that side of the map, and then Zerg just attacks you on the ground at your natural expansion, how can you hold that? You have you make like 8 dropships to shuttle your armies back and forth? It sounds pretty tough, man.
Ooh. Another SCV going out to scout. Now Dandy has enough Marines to deal with that link. There you see a third hatch going down on the other side of the map, and that's going to be a free base basically until Dandy gets a dropship.
Dropship's certainly a big commitment too. Going double dropship early enough to shut that base down is really tough. So Zerg essentially gets free 3 gas right away.
Yeah, the reason you don't see double drop is because basically you're eating into the production of your first 2 vessels. That's a very big committal.
Yep. Of course, we could see something funky like maybe a proxy barracks or even a proxy factory to shut that down for a while.
Maybe a proxy factory and add in some vultures just to harass a little bit, but that's also a very big investment. If that,
yeah.
Imagine the proxy factory gets spotted by Mutalisks, it's like 80% done. Well, that goes down the drain. You're gonna have to cancel that. Now your tech's delayed. But Danny's gonna go into 4 racks production, getting +1. He's getting. Why? I'm looking at these SCVs. They keep going behind the mineral lines. This is so annoying for Terran. Like, those are going to be free SCVs once mutas come out.
That is super weird that they're doing that. Brood War is such a mystery to me, man. These kind of tiny little pathing issues and stuff are just mind-boggling. It does, to your point, it does look like Danny is just trying to play this out as standard as possible. But, I mean, the mutas are out. You've got a third gas so intensely fast on this map. Like, you can go super hard in the paint on muta and still hit all your timings with your hive and everything like that.
And yeah, every time I'm looking at that natural, I see those forfeit SCVs. Like, they just keep going behind the mineral line. It's like we have a couple SCVs here, but well protected by turrets. I don't know what Hawk's doing.
Whoa.
This is the angle you want to go in from.
Yeah, this is a bit of a sus attack here, man. Look at all those bruised up mutalisks. Are we going to lose any, though? One goes down. Very surprised that he didn't lose like 3. That initial poke-in, not so successful. But, again, critically, his economy, his gas economy is just cranking. You know what I mean? You know,
look how Dandy fixed the mining. He made a turret so the SCVs can't go there.
Brilliant. Bro, that's like a 500 IQ move right there. But look at that. There's an SCV that's going around the bunker to deliver minerals, though. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's done now. All right.
Well, lots of turrets going up for Dandy. This is something like 10 turret factory. It's about to be done. We do have the hydro generator done, so lurkers should be done in not that long. It's not a huge investment into mutas. Is this the 11? Ooh, turret is gonna burn down.
The SCV arrives to the job site and is like, oh, okay. That is the freest turret, though. It's just like stuck in that corner right next to the high ground. Oh my gosh. The muta usage here has been, I would say, a little confusing. He's just taking so much damage on them right now.
A little bit lackluster, but he is taking up further. He does have +1 weapon, so he's really looking to get marine kills with these mutalisks. Still no Queen's Nest, no Hive. Unless, nope, don't see anything at the third either. Just more turrets going up. Dandy knows this guy doesn't have Hive. What is he doing? What is he up to?
Yeah, it is a little strange.
Is this gonna be a lurker bust? Or yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, I mean, that's not an inordinate amount of workers. But it looks like a couple of them are coming across the map.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a lurker bust. You don't get 3 gas this fast and then don't go hide with it unless you're planning to do something like this. We have a forward bunker, so Dandy is definitely aware that something like this could happen. We actually have a supply lead for Hawk. Those lurkers haven't been spotted.
Oh man, and they're getting behind the army now. And here come the mutas, although the mutas are a little further out than I think you want them to be. A whole bunch of them go down now, but this army is kind of zoned off of their bunker for now.
This is very dicey. If we see something like 4 more lurkers show up, I'm not really sure how Dandy is going to be able to defend. For now, he has just enough units. Well, these mutas can pick off this bio. I think it would buy Dandy the time he needs to get more units out. I mean, that's a lot of lurkers.
Those mutas were just refusing to fire, though, but here they go. And now you have 3 medics just out in the open getting taken apart. That's horrific.
I mean, that's 7 barracks though, but we're so close to that natural mineral line. Of course, Hawk is very committed here. He has to get a lot of damage done. Looks like the lurkers are exposed though. There's no mutalisks to protect them.
Even the 2 mutalisks, though, just being able to help out just with their bodies. You know, it's so difficult to bust these, you know, oh my gosh. Marines just getting absolutely slaughtered here.
Yeah, but we need more lurkers though. We went from 6 to 2, and we only see more mutalisks being added to this comp. Finally have some hydralisks rallied. The lurkers have to get within range of the middle line. This is a floated factory. Danny's only going to have bio. Where are the vessels? He needs vessels. Well,
like that we
lurk.
have a couple of mutas out in the third world here just to make sure that no drops or anything are happening. I think that's a great place to just kind of like leave your injured mutas. Finally have some mutas getting into the main here, getting on top of the production. First two vessels are in the fight now. Very low number of Marines left here.
Mutilas on the barracks, but they're leading off.
Ooh.
Not really microing them. He's more focused on the attack at the front. Dandy doing a good job of killing those Mutilas, and now I think Dandy is stabilized.
Here's the real question though: is what's the move here, right? He's no longer under threat of losing to this, but you've got lurkers at your nat. How do you push out here and start putting pressure on the Zerg so he doesn't just take a fourth base and just kill you with Ultra?
I think Hawk is quite far away from Ultra. He's really committed on this lurk tech. You can see he doesn't even have ground upgrade. Then Dandy 1-1 is done. 2-2 is about to complete, and once that 2-2 hits, like no amount of lurkers will get the job done here.
Yeah, that is a good point. And you know, Dandy, importantly too, is keeping the lurker numbers down. He's sniping them off over and over again. Look at the micro, man. This guy's got the moves.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job of lowering those lurker numbers, because even if you have a lot of Marines, once you get something like 8-9 lurkers, it doesn't matter. There's just too many spines. This bunker coming in absolutely clutch here. Hawk really going for it.
Dude.
And there's the GG.
Wow, an excellent game played by Dandy, man. Wow, that was so sick. Dandy's micro was on point there, man. He took out mutas anytime they overstepped. He sniped lurkers after lurkers after lurkers. I felt like, can you imagine just getting a free third gas and having a game go that badly? Dandy played out of his mind that game. The lurkers unburrow, instantly stims and snipes them. You know? What could Hawk even do there? It looked like he just got completely outplayed.
Yeah, I feel like Hawk had the opportunity there with the first lurker move, but Dandy was in position and he did a fantastic job there.
Well,
Just great control and great reaction from Dandy all around.
Well, that is it for the Zerg team. Everyone played excellently today, but I really think Dandy really earned that win there to secure it for his team, man. The Terrans were looking super strong. Kryok killed so many players. Dandy played excellently that game as well. And man, did they make it look easy. So Zerg's unfortunately going down in the Races Championship. That'll be Terran going up against Protoss for the finals, man. And man, they have a stacked lineup. I can't wait to see it tomorrow.
But I mean, the I guess if this were basketball, it'd be the game ball or maybe the game keyboard. It's gotta go to Kryok. Kryok, 4 wins. Haven't seen him playing in a long time. 4 wins against 4 very strong Zerg. Definitely carried the torch here for Team Terran and let Dandy clean up easily at the end there. So job well done by Kryok, and congrats to the Terran team, and we'll see them again tomorrow against Team Protoss.
Yeah, man. Well, guys, that looks to be all the StarCraft that we have for you today. I really want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. And of course, we got a big donation earlier. So really appreciate that. We're going to guys, we really got to make the push to hit the goal for the next season of Races Championships. As you can see, we're at $600 out of $2,000 to make Races Champion Season 2 happen. So if you guys want to dig in and dig deep into those pockets, see if we can make that happen, I'd really appreciate it. I love the Races Championships. I think it's super fun. So if you guys think the same, please, let's make this Season 2 happen. Would really appreciate it. But thank you all for showing up here. I know, showing up at the Trovo can be uncomfortable. Some people who haven't ever been here before. But we got a whole bunch of people making accounts and chats. So thank you all for showing up. Really appreciate y'all being here. And it was a really fun time casting for you guys. And of course, please show up tomorrow to see the championships between Terran and Protoss.
See you guys then. Bye.